London's LBC
97.3. London's LBC 97.3. 0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
So the Baker line has been suspended. So it sounds like something for bad behaviour. And I don't know about you, but my heart sinks when you go onto the tube and they have those marker boards just before you get on the escalators. And it says, all services are normal. And you think, oh, blimey, is that the best we can do? Anyway, good evening. This is the second from last that I will be here, so let's make it fabulous, okay? 0870 90 90 973. I know it's an extremely long number, so I'll say it slower. 0870 90 90 973. There's too many O's in there. One of the O's was me singing along with Liberace. So you just take that O out, and then everything will be fine. I did bring in, as promised, the world's best recipe. If you are throwing... Here comes another O. Oh! If you are throwing a dinner party... You want at least one hit, right? You can get away with a couple of so-so courses if you're going to be serving three. Or you want at least one that's going to really super impress people. Am I right? Something that people are going to go, wow, did you actually make that, or did you buy it from M&S? Do they advertise with those, by the way? No? Good. Their TV adverts make me want to retch. It's not just food. It's M&S food. Like it's a porno movie she's advertising. Anyway, enough of that. So you can get away with soup to start, and then, I don't know, some sort of fish or meat thing, and it doesn't have to taste like it came from a restaurant. But the dessert, that's where it falls or soars. Yes? It's the last thing that they'll eat, so it's the last thing they'll remember. And a so-so soup and an icky meat dish will be forgotten if you wow them right at the end. The world's best dessert. I don't know why I'm doing this. I just mentioned it yesterday, and I thought, oh, I'll bring it in. We were talking about food. I think we were talking about crisp sandwiches or, some exotic delicacy like that. And it just occurred to me that the most successful thing, I know what it was, recipe books from chefs that don't work, which accounts for almost all of them, except for the blessed Delia, who comes up trumps pretty much every single time. Chocolate bread and butter pudding. You're salivating as I speak. I'm telling you, it's the best thing you'll ever put in your mouth. All right, the second best thing you'll ever put in your mouth. And I'm feeling like Jimmy Young already. Remember Jimmy Young used to have that, I don't know what it was. It was like some sort of radio cartoon character called Raymondo. And every now and again, Raymondo would pop up and said, "What's the recipe today, Jim?" And Jim would say, "Funny you should ask that, Raymondo." Me saying that now, it sounds like something out of Jack and Ori. But that was broadcast to actual adults, old ones too, on Radio 2. Of course, they've replaced him now with a robot. Some drone with no personality. But back in the old days, when I were a lad, he used to do a recipe a day, and so I'll do one now. Is there a good reason why I shouldn't? Well, yeah, there's lots of them actually, and most of them calorific. There's nothing good in this thing, I'm telling you. I'll just go through the ingredients so you can see it and cook along with me. We'll do it in real time, like 24. You need old bread, chocolate, butter, whipping cream, and sugar and eggs. Like I said, it's the dieter's delight. Is that all we've got so far? A call in Swansea. I don't want to go to Swansea for the first one. Come on, London, where are you? There's 13 million Londoners listening to this show right now. Shall I downscale that? 13 million Londoners are potentially listening to this show right now, and the first call is in Swansea. That's pathetic. I'll wait till we get some London. There was, I was still in shock about the smoking thing, by the way. I went to bed without knowing what the result was, and I woke up the next morning thinking that they were going to do some, like a usual fudge. Some sort of half... I can't say that phrase. Half... Help me out here. What's another phrase for the one that I'm about to say?
What are you trying to say?
It's like neither one thing or another. It's
Either either? Neither neither?
That'll do.
6 of one, half a dozen?
Yeah. And I thought that it's bound to be, you're allowed to smoke, but only if it's raining outside. Or, just one of these stupid things where you can smoke in a pub, but not with 1 metre... 1 meter's distance from the bar. Who on earth came up with that? For what possible... are they going to track the smoke and fine it if it goes over the 1 metre exclusion zone? That was just plain silly. But they did the right thing, and I'm still in shock about that. And there was a little nagging voice in the back of my head that thought, no. Even though they voted for it, they're still probably not going to do it. They'll wheedle out of it somehow. Because the smoking lobby, aren't they called Forest? Stands for, what does the Forest lobby stand for? F-O-R-R-E-S-T. I presume there's 2 R's in there. Forest are the Ash are the non-smokers, right? And Forest are
They're the pro-smokers.
They're the pro-smokers.
Yeah.
Do you believe they picked Forest? With all the healthy, beneficial aspects of the word forest. It's green and it's open and smell the air. Forest. They should have called themselves Wheezing Coughing. They've got an enormous amount of money, and I thought that they're bound to buy their way out of a total ban. I mean, I was convinced of it, but apparently not. But like I said, this little thought in the back of my head was saying, you know what, I bet they still don't do it. Or they'll find some way to delay it. Just like they did with the 24-hour drinking, right? He sent text messages. I'm still stunned by this. 10 years later? He sent text messages to students. And the effrontery of that, by the way. Saying, vote for me, and I'll let you drink all day and all night. And they did, and he didn't. Not for years. He kept saying, I'm gonna. It's like a teenager promising to clean up his bedroom. I'm gonna. And finally, he couldn't come up with any further excuses, and they finally did it. Well, here come the excuses on the smoking thing. Have you heard about this? This was from a couple of days ago. I read the newspapers today, and there was precious little in it. So I'm stuck with yesterday's news, which, like I said yesterday, continues to be relevant probably until this time next year. You know, the news comes and it goes, and you read the most shocking things, everyone shrugs their shoulders and goes, well, what can we do? And everything just stays the same. The total ban on smoking in public places, including all pubs and clubs, may be delayed to give businesses more time to adapt. Now, what manner of adapting do you need to do? You just need to nail a sign to the wall that says no smoking. That's it. Take the ashtrays away and prepare to be able to breathe easily for the rest of your life. Plans for a ban to take effect by the summer of 2007, and why, by the way, does it take that long? Why not right now? Were drawn up when it was envisaged that there would be an exemption for pubs that did not serve food and private clubs in England. The government now has to draft a complicated set of regulations for the implementation and enforcement of the total ban, working out a set of new penalties. Why is it always with the penalties? You've got to be fined for everything. Penalties for those who do not deserve it, or observe it rather, and deserve it. Gordon Brown, the Chancellor, he's the guy with the jaw that unhinges so he can swallow people's heads whole. You know who's first in line? That's right, 2 Jags himself. Gordon Brown, the Chancellor, is among ministers who favour a delay in its introduction, possibly until 2008, or, whenever. Sources close to Mr. Brown confirmed that he was concerned that pub landlords, worried about going out of business, might need more time to prepare for the unexpectedly tough all-out ban. There's nothing to prepare for. You just tell people not to smoke. Everybody not smokes. The end. They're saying that because it wasn't, because there weren't exclusions, because there wasn't this 1 metre exclusion around a bar, and there wasn't an exclusion for pubs that served food, and there wasn't an exclusion for private clubs, then it's much more complicated. And it's going to take much more time to put into place. Whereas, in fact, as you know, I can hear the sound of your eyeballs rolling back in your head as you stare at the ceiling. Through your radios, I can hear that. Of course, it's not more complicated. It's less complicated, far more complicated to do the silly alternative. For an all-out ban, it's simple. Just everybody stops smoking. That's it. So they want at least another year now in order to implement this extremely complicated procedure. I knew it. I knew they wouldn't do it. They all voted for it, and they're not going to do it. Mr. Barron, chairman of the Health Committee, said that the important thing now was to implement the ban in the best way. Right. Well, what does that mean? In the best way to... Well, the best way is just to do it. But the best way means prevarication, apparently. Mr. Barron also speculated, this is the chairman of the Health Committee, right? The man who is tasked with looking after our welfare, speculated that as the implementation of the ban could be very popular with the public, are you ready? The Chancellor, who is expected to succeed Tony Blair before the next general election, might wish to postpone its introduction until nearer polling day.
What?
So never mind about our health. It's just all about their popularity. Are we staggered yet? Huh. So more about protecting jobs than actually preventing cancer. I knew they wouldn't do it. I knew it. I was looking forward to actually going out again. Apart from coming to work and going down and get the post, which, by the way, is mostly stolen these days. I'll read that out later. I've very rarely ever go out with good reason, because you come back and your clothes are so stinking of smoke that they spontaneously combust when you put them in a pile on the floor. I knew they wouldn't do it. I knew it. This is LBC 97.3. We're going away to come back.
London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Yes? Right, let's go. Is my mic on? Can you hear me?
Down here.
I can hear nothing of my own mouth. Is there anybody out there? Can you hear? Just stop looking panicked and nod if you can hear me. I'm on. Okay, great. Here's Swansea, which is in West London, and a bloke called Robert.
Yo, mate, you want some jelly deals with that?
Nothing would give me less pleasure.
Hello, Mr. Abbott. How are you this evening?
I'm all right, mate.
I've moved to Wales tonight. You see.
Good for you.
And I've just come from the pub. I just realised 24-hour drinking. Why don't they extend the licensing hours? 11 o'clock. Throw-out sign. Pathetic.
Well, I think you have to take that up with your local publican. It's got nothing to do with the government anymore. They let every... I think it's down to your local council and the individual chap behind the bar.
Is there a central database or something where you can check what time's pub stuff?
That's an excellent idea. I tell you what, somebody's going to make £1 million. Somebody should get a website, and you can look up your late night chemist on the web. Somebody should do a website where you can look up your local late night pub. What an excellent idea.
Well, it's copyright RFTR. Nobody else can have that.
I would get on it, mate, because students particularly will be keen to find out.
Well, I thought it was really... I tried looking on the council website. It's just pathetic.
You know what? And I had forgotten that it had happened, because I haven't taken advantage of it yet. I've been shouting about it for years. Why is this country, why are we treated like babies, and we all have to stop drinking at 11 o'clock, whereas we go on holiday to Spain and France and, anywhere in the world apart from the sandy areas.
Bournemouth.
And, you're allowed to act, in a casual manner in regards to booze. But finally they did it. I haven't taken advantage of it yet. One of these days I'll leave the flat.
I wouldn't bother. Pubs are open.
Yeah, I know. Outside is rubbish, isn't it?
Trust me, the old chavs around and things, this is a nightmare.
Well, you're in Swansea. What do you expect?
How dare you? The beautiful area does offer charity.
Well, I say that as someone who is wearing a shell suit as I speak.
Surely not.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the most comfortable. I'm not meeting people.
When you were wearing that last week as well, you change your clothes, Nick.
Well, I wash them, but once you've worn a shell suit, you seriously don't want to ever wear anything else. Because it is the most comfortable thing. It's got it's like an old man's clothes. Old men used to buy their they used to be called action slacks, and he used to be in the back of the newspaper, back of the Telegraph. They probably still are. Nylon action slacks with elasticated waists, right above the adverts for shoes for $29.99, made from a product that's never seen the inside of an animal.
The only person I've ever seen the only person I think I've ever seen wearing a shell suit is David Icke on Wogan. Very fetching it was as well.
Everybody wears shell suits now. Are you joking? In Swansea, particularly Swansea, Glasgow, Manchester, London, not so much. It's funny because I spent a year and a half living up and down the country in Glasgow and in Cardiff, Leeds, and you don't see a person under 30 wearing anything else. But you come to London and you hardly see them at all. Builders wear them, right enough. But ordinary people walking around the street, it's almost like it's just not the done thing down here.
I really have never seen somebody wearing a shell suit. Your definition of a shell suit must be different to mine.
Well, a tracksuit, like a logoed track. What is it? What's the difference between a shell suit and a tracksuit?
Tracksuit's more less baggy, isn't it?
One's shiny. Yeah, I think a shell suit is just like a nylon outer with or without a cotton inner. Yeah? And it's got elasticated waist, and there's nothing more comfortable. You can eat till you puke, and you still... All right, let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. You can eat until you're replete. How's that? Better?
Slightly better.
and discomfort is not something you have to worry about. They're great. Have you ever worn one, Lucy?
Probably in my youth, yes. My slobbing clothes, I call them.
Exactly, yeah. Adult pyjamas. I wear them inside the house and nothing else. And, as a younger person, I used to care deeply about how I looked, like leaving the house. You'd spend about 3 hours in front of the mirror, and, you'd be insistent on wearing the absolute latest fashion. You'd take a ruler to your flares to see that they were the requisite width. And, you make sure your hair was licked in just the right way. These days, I go out, I'm like Elton John used to be. I've got food all down the front of my sweatshirt, and my hair's sticking out like I've had an electric shock, like I've just been tasered. I look like a drunk who's just been tasered most of the time. And, coming in here, all I'll see is, and I don't mean to be offensive when I say this, is you, Lucy.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
And Gary the engineer. And engineers, let's face it, they're not the most sartorial of types, are they?
It's Alex.
I'm sorry, Alex. It must be the 3 panes of glass between me and you. But does that alter the answer to my question?
I forgot what it was.
Anyway, we dealt with you, Robert.
Let me just say to anybody. Let me just say this point. Real ale, much better than rubbishly old commercial stuff.
No, you're talking to Londoners now. We only drink lager, mate. Lager. This is LBC 97.3. I'm Nick Abbott, and first call was in Wales. It's not the only call in Wales I've got on the board either, but that would be ridiculous to go back to Wales again. And now I'm having trouble with this. This machine does not like me. Can you put 3 through for me, because I can't do it. Let's have one in Bayswater. Raymondo.
Yes, that's right. I get called that sometimes now by people that I know.
Is there a pig in the room?
No, I had a bit of a funny thing up my nose, but never mind.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, you're talking about smoking.
Yes.
There is an exemption, but it hasn't been mentioned at all. Private transport, i.e. minicabs.
Did you just say?
Private transport, minicabs.
Right. But that's not what you said first, though, was it?
Private hire.
You said private.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Was that a funny thing up your nose as well?
No, that was just to emphasise what I was trying to talk about.
Right.
But private hire, i.e. minicabs, haven't been mentioned unless it comes under a place of work.
But the bloke who's driving is working.
Yes, but does it count as a place of work or a tool of his work? Because in an office you need tools to work in some cases. For example, typewriter, computer, pen.
Typewriter. Okay, hands up people who work in an office who work with a typewriter. Can anybody even remember what they look like?
So
Seriously, how did we used to manage 20 years ago? Can you even begin to imagine how it used to be without the internet, without mobile phones, when you typed something and you had to put that correction paper? Do you remember? Or that stuff that came as white paint?
I think it's an improvement as to what's happened, though.
What is?
Using the internet.
Well, you've considered all of the alternatives and all of the respective merits of typewriters and the internet and computers, and you've come to the conclusion that?
I use a mobile phone for texting where I can, because you can't guarantee the post these days. My wife's been waiting for 10 days for a letter that's been posted to her, first class.
Right, well, tell her to hold her breath.
I don't want her to do that. I don't want to lose her.
Does it contain money or anything valuable?
No, it was a get well card.
A get well card? Oh, they're probably nicking that too.
It wouldn't surprise me what they do.
You don't sound like a person who would do a lot of texting, or even own a mobile phone, or be able to, identify one in a lineup.
I just know the type of phones that I like. I know how to work it.
Well, now you're just boasting. Here's a man who uses a typewriter who knows how to text on a mobile phone. I suppose you know what WAP is, too.
WAP, W-A-P.
Oh, yes, WAP is, WAP is something else.
Happens, I do.
Oh, no, what a dreadful mistake. I do apologise. WAP, you're quite correct.
I can tell you what it means if you want me to.
Go ahead.
Wireless Application Protocol.
Is the correct answer. I've got no idea, but it sounded good.
A lot of people underestimate me sometimes.
Why do you think that is?
Because I look a lot younger than I am. People take me for 20 years younger sometimes.
You sound like, I don't know. We're stepping into dangerous territory now, but you sound like you would be a small person.
Correct.
I don't mean comically small.
Well, you're not far off that either.
But petite. Can we put it like that?
That'll do fine.
Cute.
Sometimes.
Like, a pet.
No, not that small.
Not that small. Right.
See how near you can get.
So not that small. How about this big? Somewhere in between?
Yes, I've been compared to a comedian size-wise.
But not for material.
Not material-wise,
No.
but size-wise.
Right. So what do you do for a living, or did you do for a living?
Well, I've had 2 or 3 jobs. I used to work for a newspaper.
A newspaper?
Yes.
Not a journalist?
No, inside. I used to work for the civil service.
Oh, blimey.
And my last job, before I got arthritis, which stopped me working, was private hire driving.
Right. Well, the roads are safe.
They always have been. The accidents were never my fault. I was always stationary.
Right. Clunk, click every trip. This is LBC.
Nick Abbot.
Right, where are we at? 29:45. Oh, Phil for 30 seconds. Oh, that's easy. I can do that. Our phone number is 087. That would be ridiculous to stretch that, wouldn't it? I tell you what, I was a bit remiss yesterday. I'm going to give away some of my own money. I'm going to play the game. Who's this? Oh, I've got to fade it.
Dumb.
I've got about 7 of these. Some of them are so easy. Who are they?
Available off DAB, digital radio.
London's LBC 97.3.
London's LBC 97.3. Nick Abbott.
0870 9090 973.
Can I try line 2, please? You'll have to do it for me, because I know that everybody else seems to be able to work this machine, but it does flat out not like me. Here's one in Llanelli. Hello, Rob.
Hello there, Nick. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thanks.
I'm glad to hear. I should say, I would have said I was from Reading, as it's my hometown, except for when I heard you were so keen to have calls from Wales, I decided to say where I was actually based at the moment.
Can I request that we have no more calls from Wales? This is getting embarrassing.
I tell you, from now on, I'll say I'm from Reading, which is the truth, essentially, I guess.
I don't know, is Reading in our, It's not really, is it?
Oh, I can get it on digital radio, DAB, so...
Oh, does that count? You can get us on digital radio. You can get us on Sky, on whatever it is.
You got a job in the pipes as a plugging man, Nick.
Anyway, what's up, Rob?
I was going to call up and just say I'm just out this evening. I'm not going to be in Westley this evening, you'd be surprised, but for my 21st birthday.
Is today?
This evening, in fact.
Hey,
there you are.
great.
Very nice. Some sound effects there, well lined up. Yeah, it's this evening. I've just been across to a restaurant with some friends and now going off across to go out to a club in the city. So I'd give you a call just from out in a pub.
It sounds like you're quite sober.
At the moment, yes. It's been quite quiet now because I don't usually drink, so I didn't want to go mad and end up passing out before about 10 o'clock.
Right.
But we're yet to go to the club we're going to. Shall I name it? I can name it. It's called Barons. I'm heading across towards Swansea where I'm going to university, but it's a sort of place that's so unpopular the bouncers throw you in.
This kid's got material.
Yes, right.
Barons, how are you spelling that? B-A-R-R-E-N?
B-A-R-O-N-S.
Right, glad to hear it.
Yes, that's true. It's a very interesting place. Possibly barren of any class, but the place itself is called Barons.
Is there a sign outside that says no shirt, no shoes, no service?
I haven't seen one, but you never know. I'll have a look for you this evening. It's a kind of a £5 all-in place. It's going to be interesting.
What? Yeah, is that not free drink included, surely?
I have no idea. It's going to be the one of the times I've been there, so...
Because if it's free drink included, then you're going to be playing hopscotch over puddles of...
I went to one of these free drink included things before, and they give you a very small plastic beaker, and you have to go up to the bar with the same plastic beaker and get it filled up. Lager, whichever.
Right, well, that's a very good. Well, that's a very good idea because people of your age are out of control when. Well, not just of your age, just of anybody, any age. A free bar is a recipe for disaster.
I was also told when I phoned up just to mention that I've hired a local celebrity, or two local celebrities, I guess you could say, to join me in my night out.
Right. Well, I think I probably don't want to know.
Well, one of them, I think he works as a very minor role on some BBC station or something similar. Simon Harry, he likes to be called.
You mean an actual local celebrity? Somebody we've heard of?
I think so. I'm sure you know the other very minor celebrity, but I won't bother naming him. Hello!
Right. Okay, this is beginning to sound like student radio, isn't it? But I do wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And try not to die before the night's out, all right?
Could I just for the sake of having a sound clip, could I just have a happy birthday message?
Well, can I play a happy birthday tune?
Or if you could just say it so I can carve it up and use it on my show when I...
Yes, absolutely. Is the tape rolling?
It is rolling.
There you go. This is 97.3 LBC. I'm Nick Abbott, and we're all going to die, apparently. That was what the news was. The bird flu is on its way. And if that doesn't get you, then the 25 metres of water that's coming our way is... You'll either be drowning or sneezing yourself to death. So let's have a party. That bloke was right. We should all be out. Partying like it's the end of the world and we feel fine. Here's one in Southgate. Oh, that one worked. I did that one myself. Oh, here's Colin. Hello.
Hello, mate. How's it going?
Not bad.
Slight problem. So, who do you phone up? But Nick, of course.
Nick? Well, he wasn't available, so he called me.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Went shopping today. Been thinking, the old underwear's getting a bit old and tired, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
great.
Great, let's go TK Maxx, get some nice cheap underwear,
Without mentioning any brand names, TK Maxx.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, no, they won't be proud of this. So, you go in there and there's, all the other members of the general public wiping their hands all over the T-shirts and picking their noses and all this kind of stuff, as you do.
Always wash
well,
an item of clothing that you buy before you wear it. You don't know who's tried it on.
Well, funny you should say that. What I particularly wanted was some pants.
Pants?
Pants. So...
I don't know, there's just something intrinsically funny about that word. Does anybody use that anymore? Pants?
Briefs?
It's a term of abuse now, isn't it? Briefs is probably more of the moment, yeah.
2-button boxers.
There you are, you see. Now he's got it.
Yeah, but I touched the box. The problem is, right, you go and you find the ones you want on the shelf, and you find the box, it's been opened or it's been ripped at the top and they're hanging out, and, you go to find one in the right colour and the right size and the right type that hasn't been opened or damaged,
Yeah, because you're,
human. And there's about...
Picky. Persnickety, yes. Like me.
There's 200 boxes of these. Every single one of these boxes has been opened. Every single one. So it's not just like... people must like to get these boxes and open them up, break open the seals, have a look inside, and possibly do something to them, I don't know, and then put them back. Do you hear what I'm saying?
I am hearing what you're saying, and I've got a vivid mental image of exactly what it is that they're doing.
Well, the worst thing is, it was getting on, it was about 5:30, and I wanted to get back, so I bought 4 boxes of them.
Of pants?
Yeah, which have been opened.
Right.
And they're kind of sitting over there on the settee. I can see them now, and I'm starting to think, Do you hear what I'm saying?
Well, don't eat them.
Well, no, I wasn't going to, but, I mean, bird flu might be one thing, but whatever's on these, I mean, what have people actually been doing to them?
Well, nobody tries on pants before they buy them, surely. You can't.
Well, no, okay, they're not trying them on, but why do they open them, and what's happened to these? Are they safe?
Safe. Well, like I said, you want to boil wash them before... never mind about what it says on the label. I'd put them in the microwave, actually. That's bound to cure whatever it is that ails them. And you. In fact, maybe you should put them on and jump into the microwave. Do you think you'll fit?
Oh, I'm quite thin, but... might be worth a go. Maybe just like a hot bath or something?
A hot bath? With them on?
Well, I mean... I don't know, but it's kind of not all that tempting now.
Right. Well, like I said, don't take them internally, all right?
I'll try not to.
Has it come to this? We're talking about pants. Not just pants in general, that bloke's pants. Yesterday was such an intelligent show, wasn't it? Well, comparatively. So anyway, didgeridoos. Was that where we were? Is that a call in the Lake District? Is there a single person in London that's actually listening to this show right now? 0870 90 90 973. 13 million people are sitting on their hands while the rest of the country is calling its face off. A bricklayer brandished a didgeridoo at police when they were called to a disturbance at a seaside town, a court heard yesterday. Oh, is this a case that's finished? Here's a tip for people on the radio. Always zip to the end of the story, and if it says the case is continuing or something of that type, stop reading immediately. Because in this country, apparently, judges and particularly juries are incapable of making up their own mind if they've heard someone else talk about it. Isn't that incredible? What a silly system that is. In America, you can do an entire TV program about cases going on at the moment. I mean, talk show hosts, that's what they do all the time. Because people over there are expected to make up their own mind. But here, as usual, we're treated like stupid people, and we have to be mollycoddled and pointed in the right direction without any outside interference. So nobody in the media is allowed to talk about anything that's happening in court. I just think that's daft, don't you? I mean, if they are 12 men and women, then maybe you should pick better subjects if they're incapable of hearing one side of an argument and being swayed by some dope on the radio, making a joke about it. Isn't that silly? I mean, if they're that flaky, then they shouldn't be on a jury in the first place. And if they're not, if it's not a jury trial, then what business is the judge, sitting there in his silly robes and daft wig, if he's going to be swayed by a DJ? It's just daft, isn't it? Anyway, I think this has already been taken care of, so we can talk about it at our leisure. Ryan Jones, 23, ran at the policeman with a 4-foot instrument before being sprayed with CS gas and handcuffed. And there's a picture of the didgeridoo right there. Of all the things in all the world you'd lay your hands on if the police are beaten down your door in order to repel them, a musical instrument from Australia is probably bottom of the list. He was drunk, no kidding, half naked and covered in blood after fighting with a flatmate. Wow, it sounds like a 21st-year-old's birthday party already, doesn't it? After this bloke admitted a charge of a fray, his defence lawyer said, if one were to compile a list of items to take up to commit a fray, I would have thought a didgeridoo would come somewhere near the bottom. He did not strike any police officer at all. He said the trouble started when Jones and his mate returned to their flat after a drinking session. They came to blows after Mr. Davids mentioned Jones' ex-lover. Ah, right, see, blokes are all like, oh, you're my best mate, when at the beginning of the drunken part. It goes in stages, doesn't it? First you talk about football, and then suddenly you're all chummy, and it's Brokeback Mountain breaking out all over. You know, up to but not including the part in the tent. I really love you. It's the only point at which men can actually communicate with each other than by grunting. There's this point at drunkenness that's preceded by talking about football and followed by all-out fighting. But the bit in the middle, it's almost like we're just for a brief period. It's like being a woman. You can actually communicate like a real human being instead of like an ape scratching itself and, you know, grunting. Anyway, they got past that point, unfortunately. The breaking point was the mention of the man and his former girlfriend. Right. The prosecuting counsel said that when the officers arrived at the flat in East Sussex, I thought it was a polite place, Sussex. Apparently not. East Sussex, you see. It's the east part that's the problem. When the police officers arrived, Jones armed himself with a didgeridoo and shouted, "I'll bad wording have you and any copper who dares to come in." I mean, you don't alert the police that that's what you're going to... If you're going to do that, don't tell them beforehand. They're carrying weapons themselves. He continued to shout in a similar vein, swinging the didgeridoo at windows. They did not smash, but bowed a little. How weak do you have to be that you can't smash a window with a 4-foot stick? Police sprayed captor gas to try to disarm him, but he persisted. He proceeded out the front door and started threatening the officers with the didgeridoo. Officers told him to put it down, but he continued. Eventually he was sprayed with captor gas again, and he dropped the didgeridoo. He was lucky that he didn't do this in America. Dick Cheney would have shot him in the face. Jones was ordered to complete a 12-month community order and do 180 hours unpaid labour and pay £150 prosecution costs. That's an excellent idea. We throw too many people in jail for piddling little things like this when they should actually be scraping chewing gum off the pavement in bright orange overalls, am I right? Sentencing him, the recorder Ian Wilson said, "This was clearly a very unpleasant experience for those who had to attend the scene." Well, any scene with a didgeridoo is a very unpleasant experience, as anybody who's been at Glastonbury and seen Rolf Harris will testify.
London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Okay, so at great expense, I'm offering you the game. These are a series of famous people. I think I've got about 8 in all. If you can tell me who all 8 are, I will go out with my own money, propelled on my own 2 feet, to a shop and buy the present of your choice. That's right. Conditions apply. The presenter's decision is final, and no communication will be entered into. Who are these people? That was one person. And I'm not cheating, by the way. These are super famous household names who appear on TV or the big screen all the time. Now, that one's so easy. It's just like giving this away. He has an autobiography coming out shortly, apparently. And it will. The entire book is just that. Him saying. The problem for the ghostwriter is how do you spell that? Anyway, there's a few more, and I promise you, I will not LBC's money. I'll spend my money. You just have to tell me who each of those people are, and if you get it wrong, then you go away. But the people who follow you will know what the right answers are, and so it will gradually become easier. Yes? Doesn't that sound great? 0870 9090973, but you can't call up and just play the game. It's like Chris Tarrant has a little chit-chat beforehand, right? Because otherwise it's just too mercenary. You just want my money. You want my money, come over to my place and, ask me for some spare change, please. But we'll have a chat. It'll be nice. We'll sit down, have a cup of tea, some crumpets. And then you can try and extract some of my own cash. Here's one in the Lake District. Hello, Rob.
Hi there.
Rob.
Hello.
What's up, Rob?
Hi there. Sorry, we were just calling up. We're in the Lake District.
Is it raining?
No, there's snow kills all around. It's been snowing last week, but the weather's pretty similar to London, actually. We drove from London earlier, from the East Coast. We left at around 11:30. It took 4 hours to get here, and the weather was exactly the same when we got here.
It's like another world when you get there, isn't it?
Well, I have friends in Carlisle, and I would have thought it was like a different world. However, when we got here, it's pretty similar to the London suburbs where we came from.
The Lake District?
Yeah. Well, Carlisle's, 20 miles north?
You know what, I haven't been to Carlisle. I've just been to Lake Windermere. Around about Lake Windermere.
Tomorrow. We only arrived this evening, so...
Right. Sounds like you've got a party going on there already.
No, that's not a party. That's my partner, in fact, screaming with excitement because he's listening to me on the internet, on the radio on the internet.
Right. Well, you want to tell him to calm down a bit?
Scott, you need to calm down a bit.
He'll have a,
He's out of control. It's the excitement of being in the north, you see.
Yeah.
He spent far too much time in the southeast.
He'll have or maybe I should wait till after 12 before I say that word. But, just tell him to calm down, or shut up, or get out, or promise, you'll tell him that you won't marry him, or, any of the above.
Quite. What was that story you were talking about a didgeridoo earlier?
Well, you want me to repeat that?
Well, no, I heard it in quite enough detail and still didn't get the gist of it, but I was bought a didgeridoo for my 21st birthday by my cousin.
Right, what did you do with it?
It's stuck
Maybe
in
I shouldn't ask.
It's stuck in the corner of my bedroom collecting dust. But with it came a guidebook of how to do the breathe, because it's a circular breathe, isn't it? You've got to breathe out through your mouth and into your nose at the same time, and your lungs are constantly sort of...
Yeah, how is that possible?
It's sort of a one tone, but it's how much pressure you put through it.
It's way more difficult than chewing and walking at the same time, right?
I think it's like, rubbing your belly and tapping your head or something like that. But the book made it no more easier even.
I mean, second only to the bagpipes, it's got to be the worst sounding instrument in the world, isn't it?
I think it's way above the bagpipes.
I mean, you see crusty people, when you go to festivals like Glastonbury and Stonehenge, as was, of course they banned that.
I'm from the West Country originally, actually.
And you'll see people who don't look like they're, on speaking terms with soap, who'll be sitting there with a dog on a string and a didgeridoo in front of them. And you think, of all the instruments in all the world, you picked one that was 6 foot long. And
the closest they came to going down under was more down and out.
Right, I'll do the material, eh?
Okay, no. And bird flu. How do you stand on bird flu?
Well, either it's one of these things.
Either
it's one of these things that they're just trying to scare us all the time, like they're trying to scare us about the weapons of mass destruction, and scare us about the imminent threats, and scare us about this, that, and the other, in order to keep us in
the Millennium Bug and chip and pin.
Exactly, the chip and pin thing. Oh, blimey, they went on and on about that, didn't they? They said.
And the material they produced, all these little credit card size cards you meant to give every customer with their receipt.
The newspapers just before the chip and pin day was chaos predicted, and the amount of times you read the word chaos, and just like the Millennium Bug, and just like all of these things, you waited for it, and nothing happened. Just like the 24-hour drinking, nothing happened. In fact, they massaged the statistics, so say some, in order to make it seem as though people were even better behaved. Huh. Of course, they wouldn't massage the statistics. I'm sure they were legal, decent, honest, and true. And the statistician that said lies, damn lies, and statistics was, I don't know, he must have been drunk at the time. But, and I don't know whether it's one of those things, whether they just, it's like the mail. Every day with the mail, the sky is falling. I don't know if it's one of those things, or whether we're actually all going to die.
Working in retail, and they say that you haven't got the option to pay, have to pay by chip and pin, you can't enter your signature. The checkout systems haven't changed whatsoever. You can still select signature, and people can still sign.
Is that right?
The till system will still work. I guess it's just the banks don't insure the companies because it's all about fraud, isn't it? They won't guarantee, they won't honour anything that's done by a signature. It has to be done by a tin or... Otherwise, he's saying I shouldn't read the Daily Mail. Yeah, we were just saying that. And
well, you particularly shouldn't. You nor your boyfriend should be reading the Daily Mail. Are you joking? Have you read the Daily Mail? You shouldn't be reading the Daily Mail. I don't think they're approving.
Well, I don't know.
They're not.
The Daily Mail, if you've got a hangover, maybe it's sort of easy reading with lots of pictures.
Well, it'll clear your mind, that's for sure.
It's like a flick book.
Okay. Anyway, best of luck, mate. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Hey, do you want to play the game before you go?
Yeah.
Oh, of course you do. Who's this?
Have you got time to explain the rules?
Yeah, the rules are as see our website.
All right.
Basically, you just have to tell me who's saying the word now. That was one bloke. Super famous household name. Who's that?
John Virgo.
John Virgo.
Actually, with the clue, no, maybe not, but...
Shut up.
That's the best I can do for you.
Oh, it wasn't good enough. 0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Okay, would this be a good time to read out the recipe, what I have brought in with me specially for this occasion? Are you ready? This stuff, I'm telling you, if this isn't the best thing you've ever cooked, then you can request your money back. Chocolate bread and butter pudding. Here's what you need. And this, by the way, is apparently taken from... I got this from the internet. In people were coming to dinner, and I had some soup, I think, and fish, and you know those things. You go to a restaurant, and it seems simple enough, and when it arrives, it can taste fantastic. And then you do it yourself, and it tastes like wallpaper paste. You might as well have scraped out the bottom of the bin and plopped it on the plate. And so when you are entertaining at home, you always want one thing that is beyond great, right? People will say, wow, and remember it, and clean their plates, and actually mean it. Because there's this... you put the plates down, and there's this pregnant silence until the mms come. And you're eating it yourself, and you know it's rubbish. But they're just being polite. And then there's a crescendo of politeness where each one has to the other. And so they break out from into actual words like, oh, and this is delicious, they say with a straight face. And meanwhile, you're trying your best to keep it down. Or to stop laughing out loud, as happened to me once. I was still in the kitchen, and this chorus of mms were coming from, and I tasted what they were eating, and I couldn't come out of the kitchen because I was laughing so much. It was hideous. But the dessert, that's what people actually want to eat, right? They want to eat chocolate, and they want to eat it right now. And so if you can come up with a chocolate dessert that's going to blow the tops of people's heads off, then you will be forever in their debt. And this is the thing to do it. And it's so easy, you'll be stunned. You'll think, this isn't anything. You'll be mixing it and thinking, no way is something this simple going to be any good. And it's something you can make before as well, because you don't want to be sweating your face off in the kitchen while your friends are in there chatting amongst themselves, helping themselves to your nuts. So you want to have all the cooking done before they get there, right? And this is the very... You can cook this the day before. How's that? And you need one of the ingredients is something that you would ordinarily throw out. This just gets better and better, doesn't it? You need 9 slices of thick, good quality white bread, a day old, taken from a large loaf. Are you writing this down, Lucy?
Yes. I love a good recipe.
This is not a good recipe. This is the best recipe in the world ever. I'm not kidding. Once you've made it for other people, you want to make it for yourself. It's good hot, but it's also good... I think it's better the next day when it's cold. It's very, very filling. So, if you make it in these quantities, there will be some left over for you. And you'll be waking up in the middle of the night thinking, ooh, you know what? It's in the fridge. Chocolate bread and butter pudding. I mean, there's something about that doesn't actually sound that nice. Bread and butter and chocolate. Trust me, this is the best thing that you will... well, probably with the exception of that last bloke who was on the phone with his boyfriend. It's the second best thing he will ever have put in his mouth. Oh dear, I've gone too far. 0870 90 90 973. Me and the recipe will be back after the new news, which is coming at ya.
Available on DAB Digital Radio. London, LBC 97.3.
London's LBC 97.3. 0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
Groovy, isn't it? Oh, 0870 90 90 973. That's the telephone number. I'm Nick Abbott, in for Caroline Faraday, who will be back next week. All right, here's one in Ladbroke Grove. One in beautiful West London. Sally.
Hello.
Hello, Sally.
All right there, how are you?
I'm all right, thanks. What have you been doing today?
I made a bender for my dog in the garden because I couldn't make a kennel.
You made a what?
A bender.
Bender?
Well, I got some tarpaulin and made a bender for my dog because I couldn't make...
You keep saying bender. What's a
bender?
What's a bender?
It's like a hut, possibly. It's a dwelling.
Like a tent?
Yeah.
A dog tent?
Yeah, that's it.
Really? Oh. What kind of dog have you got then?
Collie.
Like that? Not a yappy dog?
Yeah, yeah.
No, collies aren't yappy dogs. They're like a sheepdog.
Sort of, yeah.
Well, they're great dogs, aren't they? Smart, and they don't bark their face off for no reason whatsoever.
Can I answer the question now?
Well, is that sufficient chat, do you think?
Possibly. I was going to sleep when I heard the ahs.
Ah.
So I think it's Richard Bryars. Is that right?
Richard Bryars. What, the first one? Let's just hear that again. Richard Bryars. No. It's not right.
No.
All right then.
No. No.
See you later.
Okay.
Bye, good night.
I just want you to have fun with your bender.
Thanks, mate.
Not at all. Bye-bye. What a nice lady. 0870 90 90 973. Last week, somebody actually got this right. He's the only American in this list. There, that is a massive clue. He's in the news. In fact, he's probably in the country right now, isn't he? Holding his breath at the BAFTAs. I can't believe that anybody actually cares about the BAFTAs. Yeah, the word must go over to America. You've got to come over for the BAFTAs, the agent will tell them. And they'll say, the what? The BAFTAs. You know, it's an award in Britain. Is in London, England. The BAFTAs? What's that stand for? They can't have any idea what it is. And we are like kind of building it up to such a big deal. It's just silly. Because we've got to get... it's another one of these things that I'm sure has got nothing to do with actual awards and everything to do with advertising. I'm sure they make the money from putting it on... Is it on TV? Like the Brits was on TV? I'm sure that half of the reason that the Brits exist is for the money that they get from the TV coverage. And the other half of the reason is just advertising records that they know already sell a lot. But the BAFTAs... There can't be a single person who is shipped over first class from America for these silly things that actually cares one way or the other. The Oscars is the only one they care about. It's really the only one that we should care about too. I may have made a mistake in the loo, by the way, because I was forced to pee in the dark. Didn't Andy Williams have a hit with that? Peeing in the dark. Oh no, it was Whistling in the Dark, wasn't it? Excellent track. Home Loving Man was on the other side. It was one of the first singles I bought. Andy Williams. Let's hear him right now. Oh, you don't have it queued up? No, okay. Too much to ask. Yes, so I had to pee by hearing, not by sight. It was utterly and totally dark in there, so I may have made a mistake. Not my fault. If they can't provide me with light, what can I do?
Lighter?
Lighter. It's not a rock concert. Styx aren't playing Babe, you know. The Rolling Stones aren't doing, oh, blimey, what would get the lighters out at the Rolling Stones gigs? Keith Richards wants a light for his fag, probably. Can you believe that 1 million people are from Brazil? I mean, what does that say for the level of entertainment on offer in Brazil? That 1 million people are going to show up on a beach to see those old farts. And no, not one single person in that audience is remotely interested in any music they've made in the last 30 years. They're just playing this. It's a good back catalogue, right enough. But to be just still churning out the same old stuff. I mean, at least David Bowie has some current about him. He's the only one of his ilk who's actually still relevant, who's still producing things that surprise and excite. The Stones haven't surprised and excited since, I don't know, name that album. It would be, it's so long ago, I've kind of blanked it. The one with Beast of Burden on it. What's that one? What am I talking about? This is not a rock station. This is a talk station. I'll ask that question at the other place. Let's go with one in Sutton. I can't do it. You'll have to do it for me. She's on line 2, please. Anne. Oh, Anne.
Anne.
Hello, Anne.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. I haven't been listening long because I was watching the skating.
The skating?
I was, yes.
Is it exciting?
Yes, it's been very good.
Is that a no?
No, Kelly Holmes got knocked out.
Oh, not the Olympics. This is some...
No, I've been watching that too.
This is some silly reality show, is it?
Well, it's turned out to be better than we thought. So it's...
Didn't Kelly Holmes land on her partner and cause him to be stretchered off?
No, David Seaman did.
Well, he would cause you to be stretchered off if he landed on you, but no, I thought that Kelly Holmes landed on the person that was supposed to be hoisting her over his head, and he got neck ache.
Oh, they all do that. But David Seaman did it now before they were due to go on this evening.
And this is on the BBC, isn't it?
Yeah.
And aren't you appalled that this is the rubbish that they come up with?
Well...
With your money?
I've had they've broken me in gradually, because before this lot it was ballroom dancing.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been a great deal to watch on television.
No, you've got that right. It's shocking, isn't it?
That's why when there's nothing on, I come and listen to LBC.
Yeah, good for you. Excellent
and
choice.
I'm getting used to new presenters, because I've only been listening since Christmas, because there was rubbish on TV then.
Yeah, this Christmas was shocking, but let's not talk about that. That's not why you called.
Yeah.
We want to dig a hole for the BBC and bury them in it. Can you believe that every single idea that the BBC seems to come up with is a direct copy from a commercial competitor? It's like they don't have any ideas there left at all. It seems that all of their creative talent is trying to think up new ways to spend our money on office equipment and new buildings. It's like they've forgotten that programmes are what we pay them money for. And it's almost an afterthought. They think, oh, blimey, we've got nothing on Saturday night. What's ITV doing? Oh, great, well, we'll copy that then. We can't get Simon Cowell, so we'll get someone who looks and pretends to be just like him.
Yes, but BBC started off with skating, didn't they? That was their idea.
Well, it's not much of a stretch from ballroom dancing to skating,
no, sorry, I meant
is it?
Ballroom dancing.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was. Was it?
Did they start it?
Well, the meeting must have gone something like this. Right, well, we've copied the X Factor or Pop Idol or whatever it is, where we get dopes to come along and sing, and everybody laughs because most of them are mentally unhinged, that they think they can sing but they actually can't. And so the humour is that we get people to sit behind a desk and shout at them, and then they run out crying, and the cameras run after them, and everyone sits at home like, amused.
That's ITV.
Because it's like a freak show. Yeah, ITV started that.
Yeah.
And then the BBC promptly copied it.
What was theirs called then?
It was that one where they all stayed in a house in Highgate, wasn't it? I can't remember.
Was that BBC?
Yeah, I'm sure it was. That was their fault.
Something.
It was what, sorry?
Same, I don't know.
Same thing, yeah. So they copied that, and they thought, well, we can't do that again, because we can copy commercial stations, but once we start copying ourselves, then people will start to notice.
Yeah.
So, well, let's do exactly that, but something else. Not singing, oh, I know, dancing. And now it's skating, and next it'll be celebrity skating, and then it'll be celebrity singing on ice, and they'll just keep churning out the permutations until they all get fired.
Well, no, well, then we'll have another not celebrity, we'll have another Big Brother for the summer, won't we? On Channel 4.
Oh, come on, Anne. Please tell me you don't watch that.
They set it all out for you, setting out your viewing for you. Well, they do have some quite good plays on one.
It's interesting that there was nothing to watch on the BBC for about the last 10 years, and then when their charter was going to be renewed, when they were asking the government for gigantic sums of more of our money, they suddenly started throwing all of this good stuff at us.
Yeah.
There was a little while there where they were doing modern versions of Shakespeare plays,
yeah.
and each of them was great. So, how come all this good stuff comes out now, and previous to that, it was a barren wasteland of tat? Dick and Dom in the House was about as good as it got. Yes. I've lost you there, haven't I?
No, but I don't go for Dick and Dom. I'm a bit geriatric. I think my grandchildren might prefer that.
Well, I don't think that being geriatric, or senile in fact, is any bar to enjoying Dick and Dom, only one of which is correctly named.
Right, well I don't think it's had very good reviews.
No. No, and finally they're taking them off. Trust me, they'll come back and present Newsnight or something preposterous like that. They tried them with Ask the Family. Do you remember Ask the Family?
Yes.
It was an excellent programme with Robert Robinson. Robert Robinson.
Yes.
Back in the 1970s.
That was the forerunner of Points of View.
No, Ask the Family was a quiz show, and they used to get two families opposing each other with kids and mummy and daddy, and they'd ask them, impertinent questions about maths and stuff, and all sorts of maths and geography and history and things. Things that people used to know. These days they just know about, I don't know, what do they come out with degrees in leisure and
Yeah.
whatever it is,
Media.
whatever it is that media studies is. Yeah, exactly. Do you sometimes just think the whole world has gone completely crazy?
Well, it has. You just have to go with it, don't you?
That's a very laissez-faire attitude, Anne.
Well,
I mean, some people want to pick up their guns and start dealing out some justice, but you're just going with the flow.
Yes, I leave that for the gun people. I'm a pacifist.
A pacifist?
Yeah.
Right. Well, don't spread it around, because you'll be first against the wall.
I patch them up. I'm a retired nurse. I patch them up.
A nurse? A retired nurse? Isn't that great? That was very loud. I do apologise.
Yeah.
So
what did you used to do, Nick? I haven't come across you before this.
well, for the longest time I was on a rock station playing loud music. You wouldn't like it.
Which one was that?
It started with V and ended in Urgin.
Oh, right, yes.
And then I played, I'm playing even louder rock music at the moment, somewhere else, which you really won't like. Lots of people dressing in black and, you know, spouting songs about the devil and such like. It's great.
It's a proper one on the
wireless,
wave.
yeah.
I'll look it up.
Oh, yeah, you do that. Trust me, you won't like it. And I did a talk show everywhere. You name it, I've done a talk show. I did one here. I did one here with Carol McGiffin, who's excellent. I think she's doing a talk show somewhere else now.
Right.
The story that I don't know if she's replaced the person who walked out in a hissy fit. There's two guys. One the scenario is something like there's a guy from the north and a guy from the south on a network of stations, and they do you know, it's like a high concept talk show where they have the north and the south fighting over the issues. Doesn't that sound chronic before you even start?
Yes, not exactly riveting.
And one found out that the other was being paid something like £1 extra a show because he had to come over a toll bridge to get to the studio.
Right.
And the one who was being paid £1 less lost his mind, apparently, got up and quit because of the disparity in pay. Now, I don't know if she's taken his place or they've just mixed the whole thing up, but apparently now that's what she's doing. And even having spoken to her, I don't know how you could actually pick that up on the radio.
It's quite unusual.
It's out there somewhere.
Our LBC, because they don't.
Oh no! Is this going to be a complaint now, Anne?
Sorry?
Is this a complaint?
No, it's unusual in that. No, it's not. It's a compliment.
Right.
Well, I think because you don't have music.
Yeah, well, it's a talk station.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know they existed until recently.
Well, there's not many of us.
Hmm. No, it's nice. I've found it in my car as well, so I've managed to get it in there.
Well, it's a nice, it's a reprieve from, you know, banging, crashing, slamming action that you get on the kiddie stations that play all that awful music.
Jingles.
Yeah, jingles and DJs and all that hideous stuff, yeah.
Well, I thought about your competition.
Yeah, the game, yes.
But I'm a bit confused because I don't know whether he's an American.
The first one, I'll give you a clue, all right?
Is he good looking?
Yes. I'd have to say there's unqualified yes.
Oh, well then I think I know who it is.
Let's hear him one more time. He's famous for being good looking.
Yes, George Clooney.
Is the correct answer.
Yeah. Do I get a clap like you've got a buzzer for a clap?
No.
Oh.
Right. 1 down, 8 to go.
There are 8 more.
I sense a note of disappointment.
Well, does someone else do one of those?
No, you keep going until you get one wrong. Whether you like it or not.
That was a fluke. That was beginner's luck.
Let's see, shall we? Number 2. Dum. Now, this bloke, I'm sure that you will be, or rather he will be right up your alley. He is super famous and potentially powerful. there. Now, that's a massive clue.
Dumb.
Oh.
Ah.
Yes. Is he new to politics?
Do you know what? I don't really know the answer to that question.
Yes, he is. Oh. Is it who you think I think?
Let's find out. You know what? In true quiz show fashion, let's take a break and we'll come back with your answer. How'd you like that?
Okay. I'll have a drop of water.
Or whatever comes to hand, yes.
Water.
Nick Abbott.
London's LBC 97.3.
We're back.
Hi.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum.
Boing.
Right, so number 2, you're doing fantastically well, Anne, and so far you've won nothing.
That's number 2.
That's number 2. Who is it?
David Cameron.
Is the correct answer.
Perhaps I found my niche in life. After all these years.
Answering daft questions on the radio. Yeah, perhaps you have.
In the wilderness.
If only you could make a living doing it.
I'll be an umlist guesser.
Number 3. You ready?
Oh dear.
And I also think that this bloke will be right up your alley. And is closely related to the previous answer. I am being so good to you, I tell you what.
Has he got the funny R's?
A what, sorry?
Letter R. R.
Oh, the letter R.
Not the A-R.
Oh, Anne.
Who's in there now? Who's in there at the moment?
A Renaissance man. A man of classical education who is a star of the small screen. And, why, if I tell you any more, I might as well just...
Oh, is it, Richard Dimbleby?
Is the wrong answer. No. We must say goodbye, Anne.
Oh. Never mind, that was fun.
Wasn't it?
Yes.
What a nice lady. That was Anne in Sutton, ladies and gentlemen. You can applaud her yourself at your leisure. This is LBC 97.3. And apparently I have been remiss. Apparently that stupid ice dancing show, which I can call stupid without having the benefit of seeing it. I just know it's stupid. You don't need to see it. It's not on the BBC, it's on ITV. So like I was saying earlier on, the BBC are doing a fantastic job, and I can't praise them highly enough. We should go on holiday together. Let's have one in Kingston. Hello, Joe.
Hello, Nick.
Joe.
Hi.
How are you?
Just ringing about the incident with the didgeridoo.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very funny, isn't it? But
It made me laugh.
Didgeridoo is his first weapon.
The bloke was being invaded by the police, and so in order to repel them, he picked up an ancient Aboriginal musical instrument.
I think it's rather hilarious, to be honest. Especially the fact that it was a man, he'd just come out of a fight, and the first thing he picks up is a didgeridoo.
So they pepper sprayed him and handcuffed him. If only the same could have been done to Rolf Harris 30 years ago, we'd have all been saved such grief, eh? Let's go with Chiswick. Hello, Emma. Oh, Emma? Emma's gone.
Hello.
Oh, Emma.
Oh, hello.
Emma. Oi, oi, oi.
Sorry, I just popped away from the phone for a minute.
Right, what were you doing?
I was...
It's none of my business.
Well, I was putting something in the microwave, but I've got to go and stop it.
Right, here's a tip.
Yeah.
Don't put anything in the microwave.
Oh.
Anything.
Why?
Kitchens come with microwaves, and that's the only reason that you should ever have one in your house. Don't ever go out and buy a microwave, because anything that's cooked in it, with the possible exception of spinach in a bag,
But there was a man talking about putting his underwear in the microwave earlier.
Not on this show.
Oh, okay.
No, you must have been listening to Radio 4 or something.
No, I wasn't. Okay.
But no, the stuff that comes out of the microwave it's just not right. There's just something about it that's not right. Am I right? Because the only time I'd ever use a microwave was for Christmas pudding, because otherwise you had to put it onto boil in September for it to be ready in time.
Yeah.
And so you stick it in the microwave, and freshly 4 minutes later, it's so hot that it's still cooking 3 hours after you've eaten it.
Right, I see.
But it doesn't taste right.
Oh. No.
Because the thing with the Christmas pudding is that it has to, it's the steaming part of all the things, the juices, they intermingle, and the fruit sweats, and that's the part of the cooking. If you just nuke it, then it's just boiling hot without any of the taste that comes with your proper Christmas pudding. And the same applies to anything else you put in there. You probably opened a cardboard box, read the instructions and put it in there, haven't you?
I've actually put some soup in there.
Soup?
But I really need to switch it off now.
Doesn't it switch itself off?
No, because I put it on for too long.
Right, go on then.
Thanks.
We'll wait. Oh, right, okay. Well, this is an excellent time to take a break.
London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973. Nick Abbott.
How's the soup, Emma?
Oh, it's not too bad. I just saved it in time.
What kind of soup is it?
It was carrot and coriander.
Cow and coriander?
No, it's carrot.
Carrot?
Yeah.
Orange food. I don't know about that. So,
It's nice. It's really nice.
Right. It's a bit close to bedtime to be eating, no?
Yeah, but I've got a bit of a sore throat, so...
You sound like the old heroin advert. Remember the government used to put an advert for heroin on the television? Oh, I'm eating like 3 bowls of soup a day now, man. But I've just got a bit of a cold at the moment, that's all.
I don't really know how to take that.
You're probably too young to remember. Hard to believe that the government used to advertise heroin, isn't it?
It is. It is difficult to believe. I don't remember that one, actually.
Because people, back in the 70s, people didn't realise that it's actually bad for you.
Oh, right.
When people realise that underarm deodorant is actually killing us all, then we'll really be in trouble.
Oh, dear.
Do you ever wonder about stuff like that? Things that people take for granted and use every day, that in 10 years' time, companies will turn around and say, you're never going to guess what we've just found out. Sorry about this, but the reason that you're all dying of the big C is because you're using underarm deodorant every day.
Actually, that is one thing that I do worry about.
Because you're rolling or spraying these chemicals on the, quite possibly, the most sensitive part of your entire body every day. There's nothing else that you use that's like that. You don't put anything else of a similar nature on every day, do you? In fact, a lot of radio people don't do it at all. Perhaps they're taking the organic route.
Yes. Well, you can buy those crystal rocks, I believe.
The crystal rocks. Yeah. The thing, and that's exactly what I use. But the thing with that is it doesn't stop you sweating.
But does it stop you from smelling?
It does stop you from smelling. They actually work. Yeah.
Nice, I see.
But
might try it.
I always wondered about that, because I'm sure that microwaves, that'll be another thing.
Oh, I'm very worried about that as well.
Because they just had a study out about sweetener. Now, did I bring this in? I don't think I did. I haven't forgotten about the recipe, by the way. The sweetener thing. Yes, some lab in Canada or America has just confirmed their earlier suspicions that aspartame, is that how you pronounce it? The stuff that's basically in everything with the word diet in front of it. It's the thing that they use instead of sugar. Is basically, if you feed it to rats or if you feed it to fish, they start swimming upside down.
Really?
And rats grow ears out their backs. So I can't remember the exact details, but it's not good. And of course, the Sweetener Association, as any organisation presented with these facts, from governments to to food companies, to the postal service, or whoever it is who's been charged with something, their response is always the same. Oh, no, it's not, they say. It's like being in a pantomime, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what.
So that's something to worry about. You got your underarm deodorant to worry about. You got your microwaves and all of these things that we take for granted and use every day that are eventually going to turn around and bite us on the bottom.
So, along with bird flu, we've got a lot to worry about.
Bird flu, global warming, as I explained yesterday, quite shortly, the rivers and the seas are going to be 25 metres higher than they are now. Can you imagine that? Just for a second, pause. Just for a second and think about that. Chiswick, that'll be, you'll be swimming, dear.
Oh no, I really don't want to imagine that. Thankfully, we don't live too near the river.
That make no difference. There's no hills in Chiswick.
Well, there's slight hills. I'd like to think we're on a slight hill.
There's a hillock, perhaps, but not a hill.
That's very worrying. Very worrying.
Well, the only thing that we can be sure of is that we're all going to die.
Oh no.
And on that happy note...
That's not good.
So what was it you called about then, Emma?
Well, I was calling about the thing, and I was starting to say...
The game.
Yes.
Right, you want to play the game. You know the rules?
I do, but I don't think I'm going to beat Anne, because she got the first one, and I was convinced it was somebody else.
Right, well now you know who it is, so we'll start at the beginning, shall we? The rules are these.
Okay.
Basically, anything that I say is the rule. Is that clear?
Right, okay.
I will give you anything you want. The prize is, literally, anything you want, conditions apply.
Oh. Okay.
I will buy it with my own, not radio station money, my money. I'll go to a shop, or wherever it is that they sell, whatever it is that you want, and I'll buy it with my money. And I'm not joking about this either.
Oh, right.
Conditions apply.
Okay. And what are the conditions?
Isn't that funny? Because nobody... I've been saying that a lot, and no one's asked that yet. Excellent question, Emma. The condition is that I can... that it costs less than 20 quid. That's not unreasonable, is it?
No, it's not unreasonable.
And that it doesn't put me out too much to buy it.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't cost a fortune to post it to you.
Okay.
But other than that... There are other... well, I reserve the right for other conditions to apply...
Oh,
if and when I think of them.
Okay.
But I'm not trying to cheat you. I will actually buy whatever it is that you want, as long as it's not unreasonable. How's that?
Well, that is if I win.
Right. Okay. I'm number one.
Okay. Well, I think that was George Clooney.
George Clooney.
Oh, that one was David Cameron.
David Cameron.
I'm really not sure about that one.
See, now, I know it, and I know that's it's unreasonable of me to say this, but because I know it, but to me, that is really easy.
Can I hear it again?
Of course.
Oh, I think... I think it could be one of two people, but I'm worried. Oh, can I have a clue, please?
Almost certainly one of two people. Yeah, all right, here's your clue.
Oh.
Now that is a big clue, actually.
But you said it was related to David Cameron in some way.
Well, yeah. Now, I can't remove myself because I know who it is. I can't put myself in your position because you're obviously having trouble with it. But to me, that's shoutingly obvious.
I thought it might have been Ken Livingstone.
Ken Livingstone is the wrong answer.
Don't get the prize.
You don't get the prize. Is the right answer.
Oh dear. Well, thank you for...
Hey, not at all, Emma. What a nice lady. This is LBC 97.3. I'm Nick Abbott. Let's have a call in, how about Durham? Greg.
Hello, Nick.
Greg, how's it going?
Oh, not too bad. Just thought I'd give you a ring.
Sounds like you did.
Yeah. I'm enjoying the show anyway.
Thanks very much.
And it's just really interesting to listen to the show. I just really like it.
So, what have you been up to today? Watching Newcastle, I bet?
Not really. I don't really follow football, to be honest.
It was such a rare pleasure to have two football matches on free television today. I mean, a while ago, because I used to subscribe to all of the channels of the, Rupert's place. But there's just not enough hours in the day to watch them all, so I thought, right, I'm going to cut it all. No movies, no sports, and the crestfallen sound of the person on the end of the phone when I gave them this information. So I'm stripped down to the bare minimum now, and so I'm relying on free channels to watch football. And it's such a rare occasion where you can actually watch a whole match without just seeing the highlights. And it's such a shame that the two matches today were so boring you could have slipped into a coma watching them.
Right.
Is the Champions League match next week on proper TV?
I don't honestly know.
Yeah, why am I asking you? You're not interested. You've already told me you're not interested.
I'm not, to be quite honest, but
right.
I'm more,
an ice dancing man.
Eh?
More into ice dancing, or?
No,
no,
I like
of course not.
Go to the gym and, do a bit of resistance training.
Right, so you're not interested in sports then?
Oh, yeah, but I don't like really... I was just thinking about what you said before about people wearing shell suits and stuff, right? And you do see a lot of people wearing very expensive designer trainers and very expensive designer sports gear, but they don't actually do anything.
Yeah, don't do anything with them, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all these sports shops aren't really for people who take part in sports, and neither are these shoes that cost £100 that are on their shelves.
Mm-hmm.
They're for shuffling from the dole to the pub.
Yeah.
And all those go faster stripes and cushioned soles and all these things with patents pending and all that stuff. They're never going to see an athletics track if they live to be 1,000.
Mm-hmm. What I was going to ask you was, have you ever been up to the North East before, have you?
Well, I went to school in Edinburgh. I guess that's a bit further north than you're talking. No, I go through the North East on the train.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. A lot of people down south think that the North East is like industrialised and full of smog and smoke, but it's actually not like that anymore now. It's quite the area's completely changed, and property over here is quite expensive now to buy.
I bet wherever you look, there are identical flatlets piled on top of one another for transient workforce to live in, because they're too small for anybody with furniture and they've got no cupboards.
No, what they've done is they've bought all the old mills out and converted them into big
executive flatlets, which are
about £200,000. It's crazy.
Yeah, which fit the description that I've just given. Yeah. They'll have laminate floors, black marble kitchens of no fixed quality.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have no cupboards, and your double bedroom will be 10 foot by 8 foot.
Yeah.
Just large enough for you to fit a bed in, and that's it.
Nice views on the River Tyne, or nice views on the quayside or wherever, and it's really, really expensive for these properties, and it just makes me wonder where the money comes from to buy them.
It comes from down south. Gigantic corporations are building these things, and then other gigantic corporations are coming in and buying them all and renting them out to executives. Nobody actually lives in these places, they're just transients.
Yeah.
How they get planning permission for them, other than by backhanded and underhand means, is a mystery to me, because they're not serving the local community at all.
No.
And neither is, and let's talk about London for a moment, because that's, after all, where we're supposed to be broadcasting to.
Right.
Neither do any of the flats that line the Thames. The most, some of the most expensive property in the whole of London, the most desirable views, every single inch are covered in these mostly awful, stumpy, lumpy, architectural carbuncles of no architectural merit whatsoever, and they're all inside exactly the same. Trust me on this, because I've been inside practically all of them. They're identical, and no one actually lives there, because they're not big enough for anyone with furniture or clothes, because they've got no cupboards, and so they're just people who rent them. How is that benefiting the local community? It isn't. The local community is barred from entering the compound. I don't get it. How do they get planning permission? Planning permission is a bit of a bugbear with me, you might have noticed. But it's true that if you want to do something similarly modern in your, that's in your street, the planning department will pretty much just laugh right in your face. You'll talk to a nice Australian, because for some reason all planning departments are stuffed full of young Australians, who, when you present them with your ideas of what it was you want to do to your place, they think, oh, that's a good idea. I mean, they'll say it to your face, oh yeah, we've got no problem with that, because in Australia they don't. But they're not the people that make the decisions, you see. They're just the nice front. It's the old people in the back rooms. They're the ones that make all the decisions, and the decision is no. Unless you are a gigantic corporation that wants to shut out the local community and make executive flatlets for transient peoples at gigantic profits and suck up all the best sites in London, then the answer is always yes, apparently, whatever it is. They'll fall over forwards for you. Oh, we're back to the Lake District. This is LBC 97.3, going away to come back.
London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
If, by the way, you want a perfect demonstration of what I'm talking about planning in this country, go to Esher. Is there anywhere more entirely white and middle class and lovely and quiet and peaceful than Esher? No, there isn't. If you want to do anything that's remotely modern and build it in Esher, you'll go to the planning department and they'll virtually fall off their stool. They'll think it's so funny. They'll look for the half-timbered features, and if they're not there, they'll just burst out laughing. Of course you can't do that, they'll say. And then you look around at the building that you're in, the building that they okayed for themselves. It is the most hideous, brutalist lump you've ever clapped eyes on in your life. Smack bang in the middle of Esher, where if you wanted to do something even remotely close to it in appearance, they'll take out their gun and start firing. But they'd managed to okay it for themselves. Huh. Anyway, calm me down. Here's one on a mobile. I've got no idea where he is, and I can't get him up. Could you put one up for me, please? Ed.
Hello there. Hi.
Hey, Ed. Where are you?
I'm in Huntingdon.
Huntingdon?
Yeah.
Right.
I was wondering if I could play the game.
Of course.
It sounds like fun.
The game. Number one.
Yeah. 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 Hello?
Have you got the rules? Are you clear with what's actually going on here?
To me, that's right.
Yeah, I'm playing them.
I don't say that. Okay. I have to say who it is that's saying this.
They're best to, yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll be disappearing really quickly.
Can't we do the one we haven't got yet?
No. You have to start from the beginning. Those are the rules.
I didn't realise that. Sorry, I was very confused. I expected to hear a different one. Then.
Well, that's because you don't stop talking enough, so you can hear the rules.
Okay, all right. Yeah, well, let's go.
Number one.
That's George Clooney.
George Clooney. Number two.
Dumb. Yeah. Now, could you give me a clue on that one?
Yeah, he's saying right now.
Dumb. Yes. That's a tricky one. One more time. Dumb.
If I were a betting man, I'd say you were related. If not to him. If not to him.
No, I know the last one.
Then at least the next one.
Yeah, I'll get the next one for you.
Well, we've already had this one. Two people have already said this bloke's name.
Really?
Dumb. You'll be voting for him in the next election. I absolutely guarantee it.
James Cameron.
What, the director of the Titanic?
Yeah.
You're posh, but stupid.
Boris Johnson.
Boris Johnson?
No, that is the last one.
Dumb. You don't get Boris Johnson before you've gone past this bloke.
I thought we'd done this one, though.
We have. You haven't.
We should look to the future. Yes. So is he a conservative? Is that or?
Yeah. I very much doubt that you and your type are looking to the future. Clinging to the past is more my guess.
Can't he say something else? Something more helpful?
No one knows yet. We're still mystified.
Right.
I can't give you any better clue than you will be.
David Cameron.
David Cameron. Finally, we got there.
No, yeah, it was. I was very confused for a moment then, but I'm no longer confused.
You know what?
Yeah.
Here's number
Now,
3.
do the last one. Yeah.
Number 3, and I'm not sure that this next is not you.
Yeah. Right. Now then, this is the one I do all along, so I better haven't forget this one. Yeah, Boris Johnson
is the right answer.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much. Yeah. Well, yeah. Brilliant stuff. I feel very happy now that I've won. Have I won?
No.
Is there another
There's several more.
Oh, well, go on then.
Oh.
Well, that isn't an
No, it's more of an
Now you're breaking the rules.
I make the rules.
Oh, go on. Well, another time, then go on.
This bloke is also, I mean, he's not a politician. I'll chivvy you along, shall I?
Yeah, well, go. Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you actually speak like this?
What do you mean, in everyday life? Or just when I'm on radio shows? No, I do. I do generally speak like this. Yeah.
Right.
Ask my mum.
You're not an estate agent by any chance, are you?
No, I'm not an estate agent, no.
I'm number 4. Oh. An inquisitor. There you go. I'm virtually giving it to you.
An inquisitor? That's a clue.
It's a huge clue. Oh. Deeply irritating man. I can't stand him. Could he be any more self-regarding? If he could walk around with a hat...
Noel Edmonds. I don't know. Is this person on Big Brother?
When he wears sunglasses, the mirrors are on the inside. Oh.
You probably get locked up for saying things like this. You got to watch what you say.
He's on television virtually every day.
Right.
Now that's a massive clue. What kind of a person is on television almost every day? And is an inquisitor.
On television every day.
Come along, boy.
Well, I don't know. Well, we're all on TV every day because of CCTV cameras popping up left, right, and centre. But on your normal channels. Not Sky. We're not on Sky here, are we? Don't have Sky.
Yeah. And the only CCTV cameras around your place are the ones
in my room. Yeah.
Yeah. Seeking out crusties walking across your land.
Yeah, something like that. Well, go on. Let's play this one again.
Oh. An inquisitor who's on TV almost every day. Deeply irritating. Well, to me. I guess that's not much of a clue.
Well, what sort of time of day is it?
Late.
Late. Oh, it's not Jeremy Paxman.
Jeremy Paxman is the right answer.
Oh, he went to my college.
I bet he did.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Well, right, I'm on a roll here. Well, when do I get this prize? I mean, I don't, it's not all about the winning, is it? But
you understand that it's only going to be 20 quid, which is probably the sort of amount that you light your cigar with.
Well, no, yeah, I've given up after, Christmas this year.
This next bloke is so out of your class, you probably can't even hear him.
Right.
It's probably like dogs. Dogs can hear a certain, it's like a dog whistle.
Yeah, no.
Human beings can't hear it. I imagine that this person is so beneath you that you can't actually hear it when he speaks.
Well,
and the roll stops
I don't take offence at that. I mean, he does sound rather primitive. What language?
You know what? We're going to come back with your answer as we take a break.
Nick Abbott.
One of my favourite radio moments of myself was when I was interviewing... oh, God, no, my mind's gone blank. Who's the arts critic of the Evening Standard?
Brian Sewell?
Brian Sewell, yes.
right.
I was interviewing him many years ago on a radio station that I used to work on, and he was pontificating like that, you know, like your mates do, mate. And at the end of the interview, I said, because I was just stunned by the way this bloke was, this bloke's elocution. And I said, do you really speak like this? And he said, well, of course I do. Anyway.
Yes, we you know,
dreadfully common man and primitive. As you said.
Yeah,
yes.
and Neanderthal. Well, I'm thinking perhaps a football player.
Perhaps a football player, yes.
Yep. They seem to fit the description you've given me so far. Well, I thought at first Paul Gascoigne.
Walks with Frankenstein's monster's gait, yes.
Yes, we you know,
and quite quick for a fat lad.
Are you saying I got it right, or are you
I didn't think that was a guess.
I said Paul Gascoigne.
I didn't. I thought that it was. You said something like Paul Gascoigne. I didn't think that was an actual guess.
Well, no. Well, it's as good as one of any. He sounds northern. North of London, anyway.
Yes. Well, anywhere north of London is just beyond the pale, really, isn't it? Let's face it.
So I think perhaps a Newcastle player. He sounded a bit Geordie.
That sounds Geordie to you.
Yes, we you know,
When was the last time you were in Newcastle, by the way?
I've never been there.
Of course not.
No, I couldn't get insurance.
You wouldn't want to park the Aston there, that's for sure. No, I'm afraid you're wrong.
No.
But thanks for playing.
Available on DAB Digital Radio.
London's LBC 97.3.
London's LBC 97.3. 0870 90 90 973.
Nick Abbott.
So, pudding. Chocolate bread and butter pudding. Here's what you need. You need some old bread that's not soft and spongy. It needs a little bit of staleness to it, right? So slice some bread and then leave it out overnight. You want ounces or grams?
Ounces.
Are you sure?
Definitely.
Right. 5 ounces of dark chocolate, like really good dark chocolate, okay? Like 75% cocoa, something like that. None of that English rubbish. You need to go abroad for this stuff, right? Oh! 3 ounces of butter. 15 fluid ounces of whipping cream. You know where you get that from? Yes, as disgusting as that might sound, that's actually where it comes from. They squirt it out of a cow. Ew. 4 tablespoons of dark rum. Are you actually writing this down?
Yeah.
4 ounces of caster sugar, a good pinch of cinnamon, and 3 large eggs. That's all you need. Do you want me to go over that again? You need some old white bread that you've sliced and left overnight so it gets a bit hard. You need 5 ounces of dark chocolate, 3 ounces of butter, 15 fluid ounces of whipping cream, 4 tablespoons of dark rum, or just give it a good splash, you know. 4 ounces of caster sugar, good pinch of cinnamon, 3 large eggs. Take the crusts off the bread, and cut them so that they'll fit in whatever dish that you can put in the oven that you've got, right? So they fit flat. Next, place all of the ingredients, the chocolate, the whipping cream, the rum, the sugar, the butter and the cinnamon in a bowl over a saucepan of water. You know how you melt chocolate and the bowl doesn't touch the boiling water, but it just sort of heats it really slowly, and you just melt it all in. Melt it till everything's dissolved, and then remove it from the heat and give it a really good stir so that it's all mixed up nicely. In a separate bowl, whisk the eggs, and then pour the chocolate mixture over them, and then whisk it again so that it's all blended. Really easy so far, right? You just heat it up, you pour it in, you mix it about. Yes?
Is it egg whites, though? Do you separate
No, eggs. Just eggs. There's none of that separating yolks and all of that mess. I'm telling you, this is simple. Then spoon about a half an inch of the chocolate mixture onto the base of the dish. So you pour the chocolate in first, and then you put a layer of the bread on top of the chocolate, so that the bread just overlaps. Okay, do you get me? It's kind of like when you lay cards out on a table, and you take a pack and then you sort of smooth them out, how they sort of overlap each other. Well, make sure the bread kind of overlaps, because you want it to be like a nice firm layer, because if you butt them end to end, then the bread will start to move away from each other because they're floating, right? So you got the chocolate in first, and then you put the bread on top of the chocolate, and then you pour the remaining chocolate over the bread as evenly as possible, and then you arrange the rest of the bread over the top of that chocolate. So you got chocolate mixture down first, and then a layer of bread, and then you pour the chocolate over the bread, and then you put more bread on top. So you've got 2 layers of each. You with me? And then you kind of pat it down so that the bread is soaked up, because the bread will be floating on top of this chocolate thing, and then you just kind of push it down with a fork or your hands, if you want to suck your fingers afterwards, so that the bread kind of just dips into the chocolate mixture, and it all just becomes brown, right? And that's it. And you stick it in the fridge. You sort of wrap it with cling film, so that you don't want the cling film to actually touch the bread, because then you'll get cancer of the eyeballs or whatever it is that cling film does. All those chemicals will seep out, and you'll die at the dinner table. So make sure that it doesn't actually touch it, and then leave it for a day, 24 hours, or 48 hours is even better. Isn't this great? You can prepare it 2 days in advance. Leave it in the fridge for a couple of days, or 1 day is fine, and when you're ready to cook it, preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, gas mark 4, 180 degrees centigrade. Remove the cling film, because if you don't, that will be a horrible mistake. Stick it in the oven on a high shelf for half an hour. 35 minutes tops, by which time the top will be crunchy and the inside soft and squidgy. Leave it to stand for 10 minutes so that it relaxes, like they say. And then serve it with chilled double cream poured over it, and then all of your guests will lick you all over. I promise you. They'll be fainting right there at the table. You'll be stunned yourself. You'll be eating it, and they'll be going, and you'll be agreeing with them. Oh my God, this is great, you'll be saying. You'll be patting yourself on the back. And if you can't eat it all, stick it back in the fridge, because I think it tastes even better cold. It is sensational. It doesn't sound like much, but believe me, that is the best thing you'll ever eat. Chocolate bread and butter pudding. I got it off the internet. I think it's one of Delia's. Bless her. This is LBC 97.3. I'm Nick Abbott, performing a public service. Let's go to Peckham. It doesn't work for me. Can you put 2 on?
Hello.
Hey, John.
Hello, Nick.
What's up?
Well, it's marvellous. It's the first time I've ever listened to you, and I'm enamoured. I'm a big fan of yours now. You're talking so much sense. I've just come in from playing about 8 hours bridge locally and a bit tired, and I switched the radio on. My old favourite LBC.
8 hours of bridge?
Well, when you start playing bridge, it's such a beautiful game. You play for literally a day on end, 24 hours.
Not for money?
Yeah. Oh, you've got to play for a bit of money, yeah. Not too much, about £50p 100, what you call it. I don't know if you play bridge, but it's a beautiful game. Your partners. But you talk so much sense. I mean, why aren't you a politician somewhere? These politicians are just driving me round the bend. I'm not allowed to talk political, am I, really?
Well, I'm not duplicitous enough. I just say it like I feel it.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing you want to do if you're a politician.
Am I allowed to talk a little bit about politicians?
Well, I don't know. It depends what you say.
Nothing really swearing or rude. I'm just... People like
any swearing and you'll be disappeared.
There won't be one swear word. I'm too worldly for that. And no, I'm your fan. First time I listened to you, and every word's, you're making sense. You're one of us.
Did you write the chocolate recipe down?
No, but it's got me
salivating.
I've got some. Yeah. Can I just say something a bit oddly? Something odd.
You can say it oddly if you like.
Just listening to the news tonight about certain things. Could any one of your...
Wait a minute, stop right there.
Okay.
This isn't something about the M word, is it?
No.
Right.
I won't mention the M word. Okay?
Go on.
Okay. That sounds like a slinky, silky material, the M word, doesn't it? But I won't even say it.
Don't.
No, I won't. I'm just going to say, can any one of your multitude of listeners guarantee me that, say, within the next 30 years, there won't be a statue of a certain Mr. Osama bin Laden?
You know, the only thing that's funny about Abu Hamza, he's the hook-handed guy, right?
Yep.
Well, there's two things funny. The supine nature of the authorities in dealing with him.
Yep.
That's funny peculiar, not funny ha-ha. The only thing funny about him is his real name. Do you know what his real name is?
Fred Jackson.
Does anybody know what his real name is?
Sorry, just a guess. No.
I read this once, and in fact I read it twice. So either the journalist in the second newspaper was just copying the first, which of course happens all the time, or it's true. His real name is Mustafa Kamal.
Am I still on here?
It sounds like you.
Oh, sorry.
Mustafa Kamal. How carry on is that? That's his real name. Can you believe it?
In a way, but can I just... No, I'm sorry, away from politics. All this crowding in London...
All this what, sorry?
All this population increase in London from wherever. There's one big factor, one big word, nothing to do with, whoever's coming in, but sewage. I mean, I think I heard a certain politician, again, mention we need more people in London, in fact, more asylum seekers to look after our elderly. I'm just wondering, don't asylum seekers grow old? And don't them or their children start buying and driving cars?
Here's a question, John. What's that got to do with sewage?
Well, the population of London is increasing dramatically. I spoke to someone the other day that they said, maybe miles out, but they said that they think, and this is someone in the local council, there could be around almost 1 million illegal people in London.
What's that got to do with
well, they all do a
sewage?
thingamajig. Do they all do a thingamajig, Nick, do you think? They all do a thingamajig a day, don't they? So that's 1 million more thingamajigs happening daily, or they might do it twice a day. You know what I'm saying?
What, depending on where they come from, right?
No, sorry, nothing to do with where they come. It's just the population increase of wherever they come from. I'm not having a go.
So it's the sewage, it's the increase in sewage that's concerning you.
Well, I think, I mean, you can quote me or record me to today's date.
I'm not sure that this is a conversation we should have so close to chocolate bread and butter pudding. You know, we say that this is a crowded aisle, and you know what? It isn't. You take an aerial photograph, there's plenty of them on the net, of anywhere in this country, and the predominant colour is green. There's no one out there. Even in London, the predominant colour is green, and we don't want to build on the parks, right enough. This is one of the most green and pleasant cities on the face of the planet. I mean, you go to New York, for instance, it's hideous, dirty concrete wherever you look, apart from one lump in the middle. But here, there's parks everywhere, parks and squares, and it's just beautiful wherever you look. Even London is predominantly green. But outside of London, there's nothing but green. It's not a crowded aisle. It just isn't. It's just that we're not allowed to build on, mostly useless land, unless it's a school playground, in which case the government will lay out a red carpet. They've sold them all off. No wonder the kids are so fat, and the best we can do at the Olympics is some woman who lies down and goes down a tunnel at 90 miles an hour, which, as I said yesterday, is not a sport. I don't know what it is. It sounds like it's a stunt more than anything. It's like a student prank. It's not a sport. She's lying down doing it. I mean, you might as well say that setting yourself on fire is a sport. How did we get onto this? I've got no idea. Well, we'll ponder that for a minute as we go away.
Nick Abbott.
London's LBC 97.3.
So you remember the BBC when Greg Dyke was their Obergruppenführer? The BBC should actually open its doors so that you can walk in and see where they're spending your money. It's actually staggering. I did a pilot for a digital radio station that they got there. This is ages ago, before they actually came on the air. The show was catered. A liveried man pushed a trolley, groaning with fresh food, into the studio. It was like orange juice and sandwiches and crisps and coffee and tea and cake and anything you could possibly imagine. And if you didn't like the coffee that came... Oh, Lucy, did no one cater you today? Oh.
Tried with the strawberries.
You're lucky to get them. They must have flown them in. Strawberries? Where'd you get them this time of year?
Wendy Lloyd left them.
Oh, bless Wendy, eh? She is great. I love Wendy. Well, not love her, you understand, but I like her a lot. Yeah, it was like being in a hotel. A guy in a uniform came in with a trolley of food, and if you didn't like the coffee that was on the trolley, an assistant who seemed to have no other job offered to go and get me a coffee. And I thought that she was just going to go to the cafe that's on the same floor, like a sort of a zoo area where the staff can go and make their own cappuccinos and so on. But oh no, she was going to leave the building and go into the West End and buy me a coffee in the coffee shop of my choice with money provided by the BBC. Well, I refused because I just thought, what a waste of money. I'll just have some of that. Well, in fact, I didn't, because when you're doing a radio show, you can't eat cake and sandwiches, can you? It's just plain rude. So I left it. After the 2 hours that I was on, the man came in, took the untouched trolley away, and somebody else pushed another one in for the next people to come in. Are you stunned yet? They had plasma screens, giant ones. This was at a time when plasma screens, well, I guess they still are £10,000, but there was a time when you didn't have a choice. They were 10 grand. When you came out the lift, there was a plasma screen that just had the BBC logo on it. They could have put a poster up there for 5p, but no, that wasn't good enough. So they had one that cost £10,000, just so that it's something to... It was in a corridor, so it's... Well, it wasn't even like you could sit there and watch it. It was just so that you had something to look at as you came out of the lift and turned left. And I said to one of the engineers, I said, it's a bit... Because I was coming from commercial radio. where you don't have a producer, and the production department is one guy who comes in every other day. I mean, the building is barren apart from the sales department, which are on a floor of their own, which is a bit like a market. It's a bit like the stock exchange used to be. Thousands of gruff blokes all shouting at each other and people down the phone. You know, intense activity, right? And that's the only part of a commercial radio station that is a hotbed of activity. The production department, there's no one there. And the DJs, they swan in, they swan out, nobody ever meets each other, and there's nothing to do, right? And I said to one of the engineers, I said, gosh, this is incredible, you know, coming from the relative poverty of a gigantically rich commercial radio station. I said, you know, these plasma screens, you know, they cost so much. And he said, oh, blimey, that's nothing. You should have been here when John Burt was here. They had so many of them that they touched all around the wall. There wasn't an inch of wall that was visible on the floor of an office block. Amazing. It's as though they'd wallpapered the wall with £10,000 plasma screens. Stunning. So, pay your what do they call it? Your license fee, and smile. But you remember when Greg Dyke was forced out because of that weapons of mass destruction thing and sexing up the report and all that jazz? Well, The Guardian has been trying to get the minutes of that meeting under the Freedom of Information Act. And this, I mean, sometimes you just have to I mean, you don't know whether to laugh or cry. This came out on Friday. The minutes of the BBC Governors' meeting that sealed the fate of former Director General Greg Dyke will remain secret, the Information Commissioner has ruled. The Commissioner, who oversees the implementation of the Freedom of Information Act, has turned down requests from The Guardian to open the files for the meeting on January the 28th, 2004. Quotes, although there is a clear public interest in information about what took place at this meeting, the release of the information contained in the minutes, beyond that which is already in the public domain, would be likely, in the Commissioner's view, to have the effect of inhibiting free and frank discussions at any such meeting in the future, the Commissioner's office said in its ruling. In other words, they don't want you to know what they're saying. The decision was based on, quotes, the reasonable opinion of a qualified person, which was in this case, guess who? The BBC. They asked the BBC whether it would be a good idea to release the minutes under the Freedom of Information Act, and the people who made the decision were the BBC. Are we stunned yet? It's like the Police Complaints Commission, or like it used to be. If you complained to the police, the police would say whether you were right or wrong. It's like the parking people. I got towed the other day. Now, either I've lost my mind, or I was towed illegally. This was in the West End on a Sunday morning. I parked in, I would bet my flat that I had parked in a place that was, had a meter, which of course are free, even in the West End on a Sunday. And I know that because when I left the car, I thought, oh, I've got to cross the road to go to where I'm going. It was another radio station. And when I came out, the car wasn't there. And so I called the police, and they said, oh, it hasn't been nicked, it's been towed. And I thought, how can it possibly have been towed? And so I go down to the car park, and I'm passed by at least a dozen of these lorries with cars on the back of them. They must have been having a sweep. Basically, they were making so much money they didn't know where to look. And so I complained, because this has happened to me before, or I got ticketed before illegally. I got ticketed at 1 minute past midnight on Sunday, in the rain, by a guy who said that I'd parked with one wheel on the pavement. Now, in this particular place, the pavement was a foot high. It was just unusually high curb, And so I would have had to have taken a running jump at it with the car. I would have needed a four-wheel drive to get up on the pavement, and I haven't got anything close to that. I would have had to not care about the car at all. I would have been drunk to park it on the pavement. And so they gave me my money back. They overturned that one. But this one, they sent me a photograph of my car parked in a place that I didn't park it. So there's only two explanations. Either I have lost my mind and don't know where I parked my own car, or they picked the car up, drove it 10 yards and put it down on another street in a residents-only bay. Took a photograph of it, put it back on the lorry, and then took it to the pound. Those are the only two explanations. Either I'm out of my mind, or there's a racket going on. Which is it?
Can't hear it in here.
You came back at the end of the story and heard me say, "Oh, there's a racket going on." Not that kind of racket. Not that kind of racket, no. Right, where are we? What's the breakout? Oh, we're very close. So I wonder if anybody else has experienced that. Have you ever parked your car and it's been towed and they send you a photograph that shows it not where you actually left it, and either you're going insane or there's something fishy going on?
Nick Abbott.
And we're back. Hey, John.
Hi.
You're in Peckham, but you know that.
I know that. And thanks for letting me hold on for a moment and listening to you live via my phone.
Live and alive.
Well, better than the radio, because it's more... Yeah, again, your quiz...
Just 1 second, please, John. When's the out? Type it up for me. 29:45. Can we have this conversation in the next 10 seconds?
Sorry,
no. Oh.
Available on DAB Digital Radio.
London's LBC 97.3. London's LBC 97.3.
0870 90 90 973. Nick Abbott.
Yeah, the Hollywood stars are in London for the BAFTAs. I bet they had to be dragged kicking and screaming to the airplane. We gotta go to London for the what? Well, they're probably in their contract. It's almost certainly what it is. Their sign-up will give you $10 million to make a movie, but you've got to go to London, England for something called the BAFTAs. Read the contract. We'll give you a new Mercedes. Oh, all right then. I want first-class travel, I want a suite at Claridge's, and I want a limousine and a driver while I'm there. I want to take a bath in champagne, and I want hot and cold running nubiles. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you're not far off. Because they do get the 4 days to Mauritius, they get first-class tickets.
4 days to Mauritius?
Yeah. Oh, we know this because Joe Parkinson, who was on earlier, gave away a goodie bag that all the stars get at the BAFTAs tomorrow.
I want one.
I know. They've got the brand new phone that's just come out.
Can we back up a second? I want one.
You can't have one.
She was giving them away?
She gave one away. We
Who
gave
to?
one away. A chap called Doug won it.
Well, who's he?
From Loughton.
Loughton?
Yeah.
What's he going to do with that there?
He'll have a great time.
Mauritius. Why are they sending us to Mauritius?
Well, it's just 4 days in Mauritius.
With the celebs?
Well, you can go whenever you like.
So the celebrities get a 4-day trip to Mauritius?
Yep.
You've got 100 million quid in the bank, and you're going to go on a free 4-day holiday? Come on, you're going to give it to your secretary, aren't you?
Probably.
Like, there's no way George Clooney's going to show up at the airport with a free voucher for a holiday. That's just silly. It's a silly thing. When's it on TV? I can't wait not to watch it.
Well, it's on tomorrow night, but I don't think it's probably being shown tomorrow night. Probably the night after.
And that's another thing. Pointless. When you know what everyone's won, why sit through it? It should be live. That's the only reason that anyone would want to watch it. I mean, if you're worried about people swearing, but put a 10-second delay in or whatever. I mean, they did that with the Super Bowl, didn't they? That's how they managed to censor the Rolling Stones so that drunken American football fans won't be, upset with the word, with a Rolling Stones song that they've heard on the radio 1,000 times. Don't we live in a crazy era? I mean, it's properly mad what's going on now, isn't it? Fortunately, it's all going to come to like an abrupt end soon. We're gonna have the flu. And we're going to be drowning in Greenland ice water before you know it. Probably before 1. Hey, John, I kept you waiting. Sorry about that.
No, it's been a pleasure listening to you. I really mean it. You talk a lot of sense. When you on next, roughly?
Tomorrow, roughly, at 10.
Really? I shall be tuning into you. I always come in about 7 to 7. I'm just thinking sort of 7 to 10. Sorry, it's the top of my head. Nick Ferrari, and I have a little listen to Ian Lee. Sorry, I'm trying to eat and talk at the same time, so I've just swallowed it. Okay. I've just doodled something here. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm just, I've got a picture of you doodling right now, and I'm trying anything I can to get it out of my mind.
You're a good lad. I'll just doodle a little 15-second song about Nick Ferrari. I wonder if I could...
A 15-second song about Nick Ferrari.
Yeah, and your wonderful radio station. All
excellent. This is, you'll be singing that now, will you?
Do you want to hear a little?
Right, this is John with his self-penned song about Nick Ferrari and this radio station. Take it away.
Ferrari.
Oh, no, we seem to have run out of time on that call. This is LBC 97.3. I'm Nick Abbott, and we've got many of these done. In fact, the majority of them done. Only, what is it, 3 to go, I think, before I will give away my own money. Isn't that incredible? Has anybody in the history of radio actually given away their own money? Because there's all these big shots who are giving away radio stations money and delving into the back of the cupboard and, for CDs that they don't want anymore. I'm going to, not only will I give them my money, but I'm going to go and shop for them. Anything they want. I mean, can you beat that? And I'm only here tomorrow, and that's it. I can't do one. Can you do one for me? This machine just flat out doesn't like me. Hey, Philip, you're in Potter's Bar.
Hatfield, close. Nick, it's been ages since we've spoken, a couple of years.
Oh, really? Haven't I been lucky?
Yeah, one of your stalker slashes from the old days.
Right.
Elizabeth and Cheddar days. Oh, it's been ages. Have you ever had crazy neighbours, Nick? Because I have 2 sets of lunatics I live next to.
I have a very low threshold of tolerance for, anybody really, neighbours in particular. If I can hear them, and I mean if I can hear them do anything, I just want to kill them. Like if I hear like a slamming door or babies or dogs or anything like that, then my blood starts to boil. I just can't stand it. And so, fortunately for my health, which is not great at the best of times, despite the fact that I do everything right. I'm a health manual the way I live, and I'm constantly at the... My GP just raises his eyes to the ceiling every time I go, oh, God, not this bloke again. But, no, I've never had any trouble with neighbours at all.
Absolutely lunatic here. I have currently, this very minute, I have one girl screaming, her psycho boyfriend beating her up and thrashing her plate again. Below me I have some guy who coughs 24 hours a day and who plays Oasis and stuff like that. It's just unbelievably painful. But I have 3 things that get me through. I have 24. Are you watching it on, Sky? You're up to season 5 now.
I'm up to the present day on Sky, yeah.
Oh, you're not downloading it then? Sorry.
No, you know what? I'll just wait. The best way to watch 24, without question, is to not watch it on a TV and then get the DVD and watch it all in one go.
Absolutely. That's what I do with the first 4 seasons.
And in no way should you watch it really quickly, like watch 6 episodes a night.
Really? Oh, I've done 12 a day. Have you not done 12 a day?
And then take it back to the shop and say that it was a gift. And can you return it, please?
That's nasty.
Because if you watch 6 episodes a night, it'll only take you 4 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that you should do that. That's what I'm saying that you shouldn't do.
Have you ever watched Lost? Because it's almost as good.
No, it isn't even close to being as good. The thing with Lost was that it had an excellent opening episode, and that was it. And then they kept promising you that something was going to happen, and it never did. And I kept thinking, I've invested, because it comes like the law of diminishing returns. How long are you actually going to give this program?
7 years.
It seemed like 7 years. How long are you going to give it before you think, you know what, I don't care that I've invested so many hours at watching this, I refuse to watch any more of it. And I made that decision, and then I relented the next week, and I thought, well, you know what, people keep talking about it, and what was that monster that was supposed to be in the jungle, and, oh, all right, I'll give it one more go. And it was pointless because you would sit there for 60 minutes, and nothing happens. And so I finally ditched it, on the very last day of the
season
1, because I've read in America that something like 30 million people watched the first episode of season 2, and then I further read that they plan 7 series of that stuff. So in other words, they're never going to tell you anything. They're always going to be promising and never actually delivering. And you know what? Life's too short.
Well, tell me about it.
There's too much television to watch. Without just because I just felt like my life was draining away watching that. But you know what? It actually is good in that same kind of vein.
Go on.
And I sort of got into it after thinking on the first episode. I thought, but I'm missing Sopranos. You know, E4 or More 4, whatever. Or More 4 showed The Sopranos every night just before Christmas. And what else do you want to watch on television? Well, there's nothing better on TV. They're repeating the entire bit. But now that's not on anymore. So I'm kind of lost for a good drama. Because there's enough comedy repeated. I mean, Third Rock from the Suns is still on every day. And if that's not the best sitcom that ever was, well, with the possible exception of Bilko, then I don't know what is. But you need an hour-long drama every now and again, and Prisoner is actually filling that void. I think it's actually a properly good programme.
Prisoner? What, you mean the old one from the 60s? Or
is that not what it's called? Prison Break, or that thing they got on Channel 5?
Channel 5, well, I haven't got that.
Actually, Channel 5 is often the least stupid channel on the air.
I don't even have a TV, you see.
Remarkable. Huh?
If I want something, I'll just download it. Like many of us do. Sort of.
You don't have a television?
No, if I want something, I'll get hold of it. Other than that. That's surprising. I know it's kind of odd, but, you know.
How can you not have a television? So in other words, you're sitting in front of your computer all day?
Not all day.
All night?
All night usually, yeah.
Well, the difference between a computer and television is that computer you're actually doing something, whereas television you're just sitting back letting it all wash over you. And I am the most gigantically lazy person on the planet, and so that is actually my favoured position. Supine and letting the information wash over me. Actually leaning forward to tap a keyboard or fondle a mouse is almost too much strain. But every now and again you have to, because you can't take the TV anymore. But how can in this modern world you live without a television? I don't get it.
You don't need it if you have the net. The net is far better than any mainstream TV. Come on, I mean, it's like the mainstream news is just rubbish. It's all the wrong news. It's the same old rubbish of, diseased bird found in France, you know. It's irrelevant. It's of no, doesn't matter to me.
Actually, you've hit the nail more or less on the head there. I think television news, it restricts itself to stories that they have good pictures of. It's precious little of it is actual news at all. Most of it are personal disasters that don't affect you in any way whatsoever. Like for things that, if they happen in a foreign country, would not be news. And it only is news if it happens in a foreign country if enough people die, or the pictures are sufficiently dramatic for it to be titillating. It's precious little of what appears on television news actually constitutes what you think is news at all. Mostly it's just infotainment. You're looking horrified at me, Lucy.
No, I agree with you.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I was just thinking of the awful pictures of the mudslide.
Yeah, the mudslide. Right. Now, if few people had died and they just lost all their houses, of course it would be gigantic news in that country, but we would never have heard of it here. So if there's a sufficient number of people who die in a foreign place, then it becomes news here. If one person gets shot in your street, then it's news here. But if one person gets shot in a New York street, you never hear about it. And similarly, if the wrong type of person gets shot, we won't hear about it here. Only if it's, often either the type of person that has lately been in the news, because the news tends to feed on itself. And if like, for instance, if a dog bites a baby, then suddenly there's 10 dog bites a baby stories. I mean, they happen all the time. It's just not... I mean, it's kind of like the fashion industry. The news business is a bit like the fashion industry. They'll have fashions about, like the dog biting story. Or the classic example is Princess Di. The news media have been looking for the new Princess Di ever since, and they tried it on with Anthea Turner for a while because she was similarly blonde and looked a bit like her. And they thought that they could sell as many newspapers and magazines and put enough bums on seats in front of TVs that we would swallow Anthea Turner as the new Princess Di. And we as a nation said, oh no, we won't. So then they thought, I know, let's think outside the box. Let's try a bloke, David Beckham. And David Beckham was the new Princess Di for ages. And then he got a little less pretty. He grew older and moved abroad, making it a little more difficult to get constant 24-hour pictures of him. And so he was moved to the sidelines, and now it's... it's 15 minutes to go. I don't even know if I should mention it. But now the new Princess Di is the P word. You're looking mystified. Not a who, a what.
Oh, a what?
I'll leave you with that. I don't even think I want to say it because we'll get no end of calls from screeching harridans who want to shout at me about it. You know the P word?
Politics?
No. Politics. That's never going to be the new Princess Di, believe me.
Nick Abbott.
London's LBC 97.3.
Actually, the new Princess Di is bad face jobs and cellulite. That's the thing that's selling newspapers now. Ugly photographs of famous people. All of the photographs that they used to bin. There's this whole industry now of it's basically recycling rubbish. There's all of the photographs with celebrities that have their eyes half closed. You know, if you take a picture of them while they're blinking, it kind of looks like they're drunk, whereas they're not. They're just blinking, or a fly landed on them, or they got a tick on their face. All those photographs that they couldn't use are now more valuable than the ones when they're looking good. That is the new Princess Di, actually. Ugly pictures of famous people. So we can point and laugh, and it'll make us feel better about ourselves. Which doesn't say much about us, does it? Sienna Miller. You know what? I don't even know who she is. She's in the Red Tops on a daily basis. Who is she? I'm so deeply out of touch. I don't even know who's on the... I don't know who the people on the front page of the magazines are anymore. And doctors are getting younger, and policemen are children these days. I went to a consultant about my throat, and he was just exactly the sort of consultant that you want. He was an elderly gentleman who looked like he was going to the opera. He was wearing a bow tie and half-moon glasses. And I don't know about you, but I want my medical professional to look exactly like that. I don't want them to be chummy. I want them to be reassuring, like they know a thing or two. Not some kid who's just come out of a medical college. He told me I was all right. Well, you know, these days, if you go to see a medical professional, you're lucky to come out alive. So anyway, Sienna Miller. This was in the Super Soaraway Stun the other day. Cheeky Sienna Miller decided to pick a fight with the paparazzi stalkers moments before posing for photographers, and they put stalkers in inverted commas, which which they shouldn't have done, because that's exactly what they are. She slammed the snappers as she prepared for the premiere of her new flick Casanova, which sucks apparently, which is a shame, because I was in Venice when they were filming it. And Venice is... everyone has to go to Venice. You've seen 1,000 photographs of it, and nothing will prepare you for actually seeing it in the flesh. It's like leaving the planet and going to another world. It's just incredible. Anyway, the 24-year-old beauty whinged, "I was seriously thinking of trying to get hold of Tony Blair. It's reached a level where they have every single right and you have none," which is true. "I appreciate you're putting yourself up to it to a certain degree," she said, "but it's stalking and there should be stricter laws," which is also true. Minutes later, Jude Law swept up to the wall, and he smiled and posed the pictures and blah, blah, blah. And today we like Jude Law and we hate Sienna Miller because she whined. And they'll tell you that it's all about freedom of the press, and we have to go maintain freedom of the press and stop the privacy law, which is what they have in other countries, in America and France, for instance. Because what we actually want to do as the fourth estate is to uncover the duplicity of our leaders, right? That's why we don't want a privacy law, because they'll be getting away with all sorts of stuff, and we won't be able to find out. But that's not why they don't want a privacy law. It's got nothing to do with that. Freedom of the press has nothing to do with them going out as journalists and finding out what bad stuff our rulers are doing. It's all about their freedom to keep taking ugly pictures of bad face jobs and sagging cellulite and telling us these sexual shenanigans of the celeb set. They're not remotely interested in investigative journalism, because there isn't any anymore. The tabloid press are kind of like the psychotic bully at school, who's hitting you and hitting you and hitting you, and the moment you say, "Please stop hitting me," they go ballistic and go and tell teacher that you're abusing their rights of freedom of expression. It's just mad. It's like they're not manly bullies. It's just really weird when you think about it, what they do and their reaction when people complain. Like the celebrities are abusing their freedom of expression to beat them up. "How dare you ask us to stop beating you up?" they'll say. "You asked for it," they'll say. Still, who cares, eh? Because celebrity ice singing is on tomorrow night, or whatever it is they've cooked up for us next to keep us supine and pliant. This is LBC 97.3. Oh, no ad break. No 55 break, it says, right there on the screen. What a fool am I. Do I want to take Ted in East Finchley, or is he going to bring us down? All right. Can you put it through? Because I'm sure
what is the P word? I must know. How about Jade Goody?
What about her? Oh, is the new Princess Di?
Yes.
I hardly think so, Ted.
Yes, but boy, oh boy, hasn't she made some money?
What?
I know money's not everything, I'm aware of that.
It pretty much is, though.
Yes. You can't even go to the loo without it today.
Money is everything if you don't have much.
Yes.
Money isn't everything if you've got gigantic piles of it.
My God, you sound just like me. I'm sitting here on the radio, closing my eyes, and I can hear myself. How come you haven't been on before?
I'm the voice of the people, ain't I?
Absolutely.
The voice of the smelly unwashed. And I don't
you're like me then.
I don't mean that personally.
That's all right. I'm not offended. Now, who is the P word?
It's not a who, mate. It's a what. I'm not going to say it because you know what? Even though there's only 5 minutes to go, I still got to come back here tomorrow, and I'll just get call after call after call about it, and it'll just be too depressing.
Well, you've got one now.
Yeah, but it's not about it. You don't know what it is. Just think of the P word as you read your paper. Almost certainly, the paper that you pick up tomorrow will have acres of it. I guarantee it. Just keep the P letter in your mind.
I want to take your word for this.
And it's not a who, it's a what. Just keep it in your mind, and tomorrow all will become clear as you read the news of the world, or whatever it is they've got.
So you're going to keep me in suspenders all night, are you?
Or whatever lingerie you happen to have lying about the place, yes. Thanks a lot, Ted.
All right, Nick, thank you.
Ta-ta, mate.
Bye-bye.
And they had this... somebody called me this time last week, and they said, the News of the World is coming out with these shock gay sex revelations of Premiership footballers. And I didn't say it at the time, but I meant to. And I thought, as she said it, well, they won't give any names. And you know what? They didn't. And everybody's been thinking ever since, who could it possibly have been? And people have been searching on the internet to try and find out who it could possibly have been. And what have you found, Lucy? Let's have a poll right now. 0870 9090 973. Which Premiership footballers do you think were having super soaraway sex? No, we won't be doing that. Much of Lucy's hair has just fallen out. Absolutely will not be doing that. Trust your instincts. You didn't think that I was going to be doing that, did you?
No.
Right. Trust your gut instincts when those shopping decisions get tough, say scientists. Scientists have discovered that the best way to make a decision is to collect the information you need and then forget about it and trust your instincts to get it right. The advice comes from a study by researchers at the University of Amsterdam that focused on how people make shopping decisions and what kind of strategies produce the best buys. This is advice to help you in life. And I'm giving it to you as a public service. Isn't this great? Decisions can be grouped into two basic categories: complex decisions such as buying a house or a car, and simple decisions such as choosing a shampoo. Most people would agonize over the buying the house part and scarcely think about the latter, which is precisely the wrong way to do it, according to Professor App Dixterhuis and his colleagues in the magazine Science. After a series of shopping experiments, they concluded that thinking really hard about a decision works well when the decision is simple. This is kind of counterintuitive. But when the decision gets more complicated, focusing all of your attention on what to buy is not usually the best approach, they've found. Because you'd think if you're going to buy a house, you'd have to think so hard that bits of your brain would start falling out of your ears, right? But buying shampoo is like neither here nor there. You just pick up the nearest one of the 10 million that are on the shelf in front of you. And apparently that's totally the wrong way around to do it. Participants in an experiment were asked to choose between 4 different cars and were given details of 12 attributes, including legroom and mileage about each make and model. The scientists found that people identified the best car around 25% of the time, which was no better than by chance. The surprise came when the researchers distracted the participants with puzzles before asking them to make their choices, at which point more than half managed to pick the best car. So they did twice as well, in other words. So collecting the relevant information is important, but once you've done your homework, forget about it, and then just trust your instincts. It's like the Force. Which is great news, because I'm not specifically thinking about this show right now. How am I doing?
Okay.
Available on DAB Digital Radio.
London's LBC 97.3.